98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Than just the fastest and most reliable internet service. We fill the homes of all our customers with joy and laughter. Our services connect friends and keep families together. With the most extensive fiber optic network, we ensure that you can enjoy the things you love with the people you love. Whether it's catching up with family or old friends, or simply just enjoying your favorite TV shows, people choose the cable because quality shows. Extra! Don't be strapped for cash. Get extra this Easter from TDC Financial Services. Extra for your vacation. Extra for your new furniture. Extra for your shopping spree. Extra! Visit us in the Circus in St. Kitts and the TDC Plaza in Nevis and get extra this Easter. TDC Financial Services. Money made easy. Terms and conditions apply.
Good night, baby.
Sweet dreams, my love.
So, who's going to hang up first?
You first.
No, you first.
Okay, maybe both on the count of 3. Let's go.
1, 2, 3. Hello? You there?
You didn't hang up.
Okay. Let's try again.
Now with Digicel, you can talk more. Get double Digicel credit on your first daily top-up of $10 or more. Use bonus credit for calls to Digicel US, Canada numbers, and UK landlines. Claim it in the My Digicel app or text *141 number sign the same day you top up and talk even longer. Bonus credit is valid for 3 days. Digicel.
Pleasant day to everyone listening to Win FM Radio 98.9 FM and also those looking on via Facebook, Win FM's website, Facebook page. And so we have in studio here today a number of individuals. I am your host for this week's edition of Inside the News, Azad Gums, and with me are some talented young people, some very talented young people who have been representing not only themselves, their communities, but the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis at large. And so I am going to allow them to introduce themselves. I just want you to say your name, your age, for the students, their age, and which school or community you are from, which school or community or school and community, you know.
My name is Kina Romney. I am 14 years old and I am from Sandy Point.
I see.
My name is Sidra Morton. I'm 13 years old and I'm from Boyd's.
My name is Amaya Clark. I am 18 years old and I'm from Christchurch.
My name is Aliyah Vanterpool. I am 16 years old and I am from Sandy Point, Hertfordshire.
My name is Nikisha Hall. I'm 16 years old and I'm from Sandy Point.
Okay, so we have a lot of Sandy Pointers in the house. Yes. It seems.
Yes, hi.
And so
Good day, Mr. Burns. Good day to your guests and good day to all of the listeners of Win FM.
Yes, and I know you would have already congratulated the superstars that they are, the young athletes here. But could you just give some, as it relates to Carifta, some words of encouragement to those listening, might be potential athletes, about how it is, within your ministry, how it is sports beneficial to them.
Thank you for this opportunity to once more congratulate the athletes who have participated in the Carifta Games. I met the athletes when they returned to the Federation on Tuesday afternoon. I would have also spoken with them prior to going off to the Carifta Games in the Bahamas. The athletes that represented the Federation, they did a fantastic job. Of course, you had Rianda Richards, who would have faced in her event. You had the under-17, I think it was the under-17 males who would have placed in the 4x400 meters relay, the under-20 females who would have placed in the 4x400 meters relay, and Shishani Warner, who won gold in the 800 meters under 17. They did an excellent job, a fantastic job. The entire federation should be proud of them. For those up-and-coming athletes, I think they would have sent a message to them that they think it's small in size. We are able to produce athletes who can compete on the regional, on the world stage. That in itself should be encouragement, because I think so often we tend to feel that we may lack resources, we may lack equipment, we may lack the financing, etc. But it shows that once we put in the necessary training, that our athletes are able to compete and to win. Trishani, 14 years of age, under 17 girls, so you would have had persons in that race, 14, 15, 16, from some of the bigger islands, Jamaica, Trinidad, Bahamas, etc. But she went out and she did a phenomenal job, and at the end of the day she returned to the federation with a gold medal. When you look at the team in general, it was a young team, and I understand that some of them came down with illnesses, but nevertheless they were able to overcome. Some went on the field in spite of being ill, and from what I gathered from the coach and the manager of the team and the officials from SKN AAA, they did a fantastic job, and had it been for the illnesses, we probably would have gained more medals coming out of Carifta.
Thank you, Minister. What you guys have to say to the minister in terms of his comments?
I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
I see. Okay then. Thank you so much, Minister Sean Richards, the Honorable Sean Richards, the Minister of Education, Sports and Culture.
Thank you so much.
Say that again, sir?
There's one last thing I would want to say before you hang up, and it's something I've said to the athletes prior to them leaving. I said it again to them when they came back on island, and now that they're there with you on radio, I am taking the opportunity to repeat it. That is, in terms of interviewing with persons, they appear to be shy. I said to them that they have to develop that particular skill, and so I'm happy that you have them there, giving them that opportunity to speak to the public, to encourage other young persons, but I think more importantly, to develop themselves personally.
Yes, thank you. Of course, we're going to use the opportunity here today, as you have indicated, to ensure that, because as they are St. Kitts and Nevis's representatives in sports, they would be expected to make, appearances and to give statements from time to time, especially if it is that you guys are going to continue the tradition that you have already set, the tradition of excellence, ensuring that you represent St. Kitts to the best of your ability on the world stage, international stage, regional stage, whatever stage. So, you'll have to give comments. Go ahead, sir.
And sports isn't just about developing the physical aspect of oneself, but it gives you the opportunity opportunity to develop the total self.
Indeed. Indeed. And I think I'm going to get some of that from them throughout the interview, how it is that sports has benefited them, their holistic development. Minister?
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you. I know you're very busy. Thank you for taking out the time to give words of encouragement and being a part of the program.
You're welcome, sir.
No problem. So, that was the Minister, the Honorable Sean Richards, the Minister of Sports, who have given you again congratulations, congratulatory remarks, and who has also, inspired you and, continue to inspire you to not be shy, to ensure that you can, represent yourself well as given any opportunity to represent yourself. I think there is one person who has not introduced themselves so far, though. And so I'm going to allow that person to do so. Yes. You don't have to be afraid.
Good morning, everybody. This is Denville. I served as a team manager for the Carifta Games 2018, which was a huge task, but we were truly successful.
Yes, and so Mr. Francis is the team manager for the Esken AAA. And so what I'm going to ask you now is I don't want to get into Carifta just yet. I want to ask you because one of the first questions I asked you was which school you're from or which community. And I get that a lot of you are from the area of Sandy Point, yes. So I'm guessing because you're from Sandy Point that you all attended you attended Charles E. Mills Secondary School.
Yes.
So I have 5 young ladies here, and so because I hear Sandy Point all the time, I think that I heard something other than Sandy Point, or was I mistaken? We have one person who isn't from Sandy Point, who 2 persons. So just indicate to me again, who are those 2 persons who aren't from Sandy Point?
Amaya Clark.
Yes, Miss Clark isn't from Sandy Point.
Tijonique Morton.
Tijonique Morton. And so, Miss Clark, we're going to get on to the Sandy Pointers, don't worry. Miss Clark, which school you represented when you were, which high school? You told me earlier that you were from the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, but which high school you were represented previously?
I represented Sadler Secondary School.
Sadler's in the building, and Sadler's has alumni who has, who has even represented St. Kitts and Nevis, so that's good. A very young school, and we see good things coming out of that school already. Miss Morton?
I represented Washington Archibald High School, home of the Wildcats.
You know how it is, the Wildcats. And now we get on to the champions for the inter-school competition. The champions, which is the Eagles, the Charles E. Mills Secondary School. And so we have 3 persons here in studio, 3 of the 5 young ladies who represented St. Kitts and Nevis at the Carifta 2018 are from the Sandy Point High School, or the Charles E. Mills Secondary High School. So I ask you, how were you all selected in your individual schools when it comes to individual competition and when it comes to school competition? How were you guys selected as athletes to represent your school at the inter-school competition? Any one of you can go at any time.
Potential.
Performance, a lot of P's.
We train.
You train?
Yes.
So is it that you guys were running from a very early age, let's say in primary school?
Yes.
Some.
Yes.
Some of you?
Most.
Grade 5.
Kindergarten.
First form. Kindergarten. I hear kindergarten. Yes, sporting. So that's interesting, because you see that a lot of persons would look at you and would wonder from where did you get your start, Where at what point in time did you know that you would or could represent St. Kitts and Nevis. So I'm hearing Amaya saying from since primary school, kindergarten.
Yep.
I'm hearing some of you say first farm. Miss Morton said first farm. I think the standing pointer said in primary school.
Yeah, grade 5 and
Grade
6.
5 and 6. So you guys were winning medals at that point in time in grade 5 and grade 6?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
I started training in grade 6, but I was winning medals since I born, you know?
In grade 6. So tell me about that. How you started training in grade 6? Was it professionally? Was it that you had a coach? Was it that it was just a group of teachers who saw the potential in you? Maybe the community, maybe, just a community person there who saw the potential in you. How was your training conducted?
Coach.
A coach?
Yes.
You had a coach who taught you basically what to do?
Yes, maximizer, Gary Matthew.
And how did that start though?
What do you mean, how is that?
As in, how was that coach able to see the potential in you?
Well, I guess you can say he's been observing me from sports days, and he realized that I had potential, so he just, called me aside and select me to train with him.
Okay then, and I'm hearing Miss
How?
Miss Howe? Miss Howe also was speaking, so I'm thinking that both of you have the same coach.
Yes.
Okay then.
All three of us from Sandy Point.
You say Sandy Pointers.
Okay then. So you guys have the same coach. Okay then.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but you guys would have started at primary school in grade 5, all three of you at the same time?
No. Well, I'm younger than them, so.
Uh-huh.
But they start in grade 5.
Tell me about your experience then. So it's grade 5 is the thing for Charles E. Mills then?
No.
Grade 5, grade 6.
Grade 5, grade
grade
6.
six,
Okay then. Tell me about your experience.
Well, when I started, the journey was hard, but started to get accustomed.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Was it that you had to do some sort of special dieting?
No.
No dieting at that point in time.
The training was just hard. Trust me, hard.
How
Yeah,
often?
very hard.
How often was the training?
Like every day?
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every day.
In grade 5
Yeah.
and grade 6?
Well, I don't really remember, but I could talk for now.
Every day.
Like,
Every day.
It's like every day.
Wow.
The first time I went, I didn't went back until a certain time because it was too hard for me.
Wow. So so I'm guessing that the training, as you have indicated, was every day, was continuous. As a primary school student, you were there Monday to Friday training, or it felt like Monday to Friday training?
Well,
I think it was
I
Monday to
don't
Friday.
remember if it was Monday to Friday. Maybe it was like every other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's how we feel.
I
Yeah.
understand. So what about Miss Morton and Miss Clark? The Sandy Pointers have indicated that they started training in grade 5 and grade 6.
Well, I started in second form.
Second form.
Yes.
Mhm.
I get selected in second form from Timothy Morton
Mm-hmm.
because he saw the potential.
Timothy
in-
Morton was your coach?
He is my
Is your coach?
Because he saw the potential in me when I came second in the 100-meter second form.
Mm-hmm. Okay, from second farm. What about you, Miss Morton, the representative of the Washu Wildcats?
I started training in first farm. My coach is Timothy Morton, Fast Switch Track Club.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw the potential in me when I won the 100, 200 and relay for sports day and inter-school.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations. Yes. And so we have another young lady in the studio, another person, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. Don't be shy.
My name is Javinsa Jeffords.
Which school you came from? Which high school?
Charles E. Mills.
Charles E. Mills, another one. So it's 4 now. 4 out of 6. Okay then. So from the Charles E. Mills. And the other persons from Charles E. Mills indicated that they started their training in primary school. What about you? Was that the same thing for you?
Yes.
So in primary school you start training?
Yeah.
Okay then. And we see for the the Sadler Secondary School and also the Washington Archibald High School, training was when you came into the school itself. And so I guess because Sandy Point is a community where you have the Sandy Point Primary School and you have the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, it was easy to have that transition from primary school to high school, whereas perhaps in Sadler's and perhaps in Washi, you see persons from various communities come into that school. Not saying that Sandy Point High School doesn't have persons from the various communities, but the concentration of Sandy Pointers at that school would be very high. And so I guess that's why training could be started in primary school. And so let me ask you, we talk about experiences, sports. So at a very tender age, all of you have been somewhat in sports. And so as athlete, what I want to ask you now is, what are you best known for? Or what is your best when it comes, is it the 100 meters, is it the long run, the long jump, is it the high jump? For persons who might not be aware and who are listening, what area are you best at?
The one.
For Miss Clark is the 100.
100 meters, 200 meters, and 4x1 relays.
So we have Miss Morton, 100 meters, 200 meters, 4x1 relays. Miss Clark,
1 and 2.
1 and 200 meters.
800, 1500. The 800, 1500, and the 400 meter hurdles.
Miss Vanterpool speaking. I am known for middle distance, namely the 800 meters, the 400 meters, and the 400 meter hurdles.
Miss Howe, long races, 1500, 3800.
Miss Jeffords?
I am a multi-event athlete. Like, I do almost everything.
Almost everything. Okay
But
then.
mainly hurdles.
Hurdles. Okay then. Miss Vanderpool, what's your first name?
Aliyah.
Aliyah. Okay then. So you indicated that you would have you do middle races. It's like the, say it again.
The 800.
The 800.
The 400 meters.
400 meters.
And the 400 meter hurdles.
400 meters hurdles. In primary school, the hurdles, it's not done at primary school at all.
It wasn't done then.
Oh, it's done now?
Yeah.
Okay then. So let me ask you, when you were in primary school, you never did the hurdles before. When you reach in high school and you're now doing the hurdles, how was the transition in the sense of not being accustomed to it at all, and then now in high school having to do it or participate? Was it challenging for you?
Yes, it was really challenging.
How so? Explain. Give us more. We want your
Okay.
experience.
First, when I started doing the hurdles, it was in high school. It was for a heptathlon, I think, and it was the 80 meter hurdle. I ran it. I think I fell. Yeah, I fell and I broke the hurdle. And my coach told me that I had the technique to go over the hurdle.
Mhm.
So he started training me for it. And ever since then, I'm doing hurdles.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a very important story because it shows that, you might not, at first instance, do well at something that you could master in the long run. Because had you stopped, and say, I may want to do this again, I giving up. We say you never want to do it again. Give some of your views. How you felt when you fell then?
I didn't want to do it. I actually broke the hurdle.
You broke it?
I broke the hurdle. I didn't want to do it.
Mhm.
And like when during training, I keep falling.
Mhm.
Even had a video going round and everybody was laughing after me.
Uh-huh.
I just, it's a scary but fun, it's a event.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's scary and fun.
You see, I'm glad you share that with us though, because it shows that again, at first instance, as she said, Miss Vanderpool indicated that she fell and she broke the hurdle. She actually broke it, and she didn't want to continue again. So it's a life lesson for a lot of persons. Sometimes we start out not being the best in something, and then nobody could touch us afterwards. So how did you do in your school then with the hurdles after that? You trained, you did your best, you didn't break it again after a number of times, I'm sure. How was your performance in school or in inter-school when it came to the hurdles?
Well, this year I didn't get to run it, so I can't really tell you.
But previously,
when that was last year, Jarencia had beat me in the hurdles.
She beat you in the hurdles.
Sadly.
Another person from the Sandpoint High School.
Yes.
Yes. And so what, you came second?
Yes.
That's good still, because how many persons would be running that race?
Like me and her.
Just you and her?
Yeah.
Okay then. Just you, so 2 persons ran the hurdles?
No, like, it was like, how much people was? Like 5?
Yeah,
4
that's what I
people?
mean.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're competing and the person who beat you is from your school, you don't really take mind to that, right?
Yeah.
You take it seriously.
Yeah.
So, Miss Jeffords, because we had Miss Vanderpool who said one of her best races or best area is the hurdles. She said that she indicated to that you beat her. So, what about your experience with the hurdles? Was it a similar experience like Miss Vanderpool?
Something like that.
Come, talk to us, man. Yes. Speaking to the mic. Go ahead.
It's a good experience.
Mm-hmm. No, but when you started, did you break the hurdle like Miss Vanderpool?
No, never.
Never. Okay then. So you were good at it, or maybe a bit you were comfortable with it at first?
Yeah.
Okay then, good. So and then in the end you were able to. So tell me about your previous experience with it. Is it that you received gold for it when it came to inter-school, when it came to performing at high school? Were you always victorious in the hurdles, or maybe one of the 3 top athletes in the hurdles in St. Kitts? The hurdle race.
If I was
If you were one of the best athletes as it relates to the hurdles. Okay then. So you were consistent in goal?
Yes.
Okay then.
But it had this one meet that she beat me.
And
Keene,
you beat her in the hurdles? And now you talk to each other after that?
Yeah.
Okay,
of course.
good.
We got sportsmanship.
Good. That's what I'm looking for. Good sportsmanship. Yes. And of course, all of you from the same school too. Yes. So now, I'm going to now go on to Miss Howe. Miss Howe, what you already indicated which races you like. You say you like the long distance races.
Yes.
Races. So your experience with it, was it that you were good at it since primary school? Was it something that you had to get used to? Was it something that continuous training allowed you to be better at it?
No, I was good at it.
You were good at it from primary school?
Yes.
So there was no time that you fell down midway through or anything like that?
After. Sometimes during, in grade 6, I had dehydration. So I used to faint a lot during the races.
And how did you overcome that?
Drink water.
Good. And we have Miss Morton. Miss Morton indicated the 100, the 200, the 4x1, and also those were the 3 that you indicated?
Yes.
Yes. So how your experience, well, you said that you won those at the Washington Archibald High School. How was training for them initially, though?
It was very hard. Because
Explain.
we were training from Monday to Fridays,
Mm-hmm.
from 4 to 6. And
training was very exhausting.
Intense.
Both of you have the same coach. Yeah, so both of you would train at the same time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we have another athlete here. Good day. Could you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Trishani Wana.
Trishani Warner. And what are you known for in terms of races? I think we have a gold medalist in here, right? Yes. So, Miss Warner, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yes. Congrats. So, tell us something about yourself. From the news articles, I would know that you're 13 years old, right?
14.
14. Okay then. And we are here talking about the school, the community that each girl is from. So could you say, or could you tell us the community you're from, and also the school that you attend?
I live in Sandy Point and I attend Charles Emil Secondary School.
Okay, so we have another Sandy Pointer here then. We have how many Sandy Pointers in here?
5.
5 out of 7
4.
representatives?
I'm from Newton Ground.
So, but we have 5 from the Sandy Point or the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, 1 from the Washi Wildcats, and 1 from the Sadler Secondary, now the CFBC. And so, Miss Warner, because you're quite young, you're 14, I guess, second form. When did preparation start for you? Because previously, your colleagues indicated that at the Charles E. Mills, they indicated that they would have started training from as early as primary school. And so, is it the same for you?
Yes.
At what grade?
Maybe grade 1 or 2.
Grade 1 or 2. So that's much earlier than the others. So what was your focus in grade 1, grade 2 when you were training? What was your focus? What races were your focus, if any?
You know, I just used to run.
You just used to run? Yeah. You had a coach?
Yes.
Who was your coach?
Maxim Isaiah.
Okay then, so he's the official coach for that area then, when it comes to Charles E. Mills?
No.
You have other coaches?
Yeah.
But all of you have the same coach though?
No.
Oh, you said Maxim Isaiah.
But that was used to.
Oh, that was used to. Okay then, yes. Who's your coach now?
Mr. Llewellyn Pike.
Okay then, Mr. Okay then, we got you back with that one there.
And Mr. Joseph.
And Mr. Joseph. So you guys have different coaches. You all go to the same school, but different coaches. Okay then, how is it that you go to the same school and have different coaches for persons who might not know?
Well, unfortunately, we choose to go to our personal coach, which is Mr. Maxim Isaiah and Mr. Matthew.
Closer to the mic.
Well, we choose to train with Mr. Matthew and Mr. Isaiah.
And Miss Jeffords, you choose to train with Mr. Pike?
I didn't choose. I was like, I was in grade 6 and Mr. Joseph was my grade 6 teacher and he probably saw my potential.
Yeah.
So he just told me to come and train.
Okay then. And your coach, I know you said it before, just for noting purposes, I think, who you said your coach was? Maxim
Isaiah and Gary Matthew.
Gary Matthew. I want to also welcome callers at this time. There might be persons out there who are listening to the athletes, persons who might want to give words of encouragement, persons who might have questions themselves. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to call into the studio and to interact, engage with the young superstars, the young athletes. The numbers to call are 4660989, 7620989, 6620989. And so I welcome callers to call in, to interact, to give your... We have a caller. Caller, you're live on Inside News.
Hello.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Yeah, do I ask the fan here?
Mr. Estefan, how are you?
I am great.
Great.
And I feel great very much because of the efforts of those wonderful young people you have in the studio and their coaches and their parents and families. I want to congratulate them all, but specifically the young lady, Miss Warner. She obviously has the heart of a lion, the way she ran that race. And it seems to me that at the age of 14, demonstrating such talent, that she, by the grace of God, has a future at a high level in track and field. However, I understand she's also a football player. And that could create some problems for her. She might be at this stage now where her advisors and her parents would want to consider suggesting to her that she stick to track. I wish you all the very best. God bless you all, kids, and thanks for your great service to the country. You've made us proud.
Thanks.
Yes, that was Mr. Estefan. Mr. Estefan is a former MP, and also he's a activist, someone who encourages young people and encourages others to do their best. So, Miss Warner, as Mr. Estefan would have indicated that you are also a football player, that's true?
Yes.
So how do you balance track and field and football?
Football is just a sport.
Mm-hmm.
When track and field finish.
Yes. So when track and field finish, you go into your football mode.
Yes.
So we have another caller. Caller, you're live on Inside the News.
Good morning.
We have another caller. Caller.
Good morning, Mr. Gums.
Good morning, Miss Henry.
Oh, good morning to all of the young athletes.
Morning.
Man, I'm proud of you. Proud. Big up your chest. Big up your chest. I am glad that you have succeeded. Whether you win medal or no medal. All of you, even, and the males too, But when I was checking to see myself, is it that only the females got medals?
No.
No.
Under 17 got a bronze medal from the 4x4.
A male?
Yes.
Oh, well, big up to everybody, I tell you.
Yes,
Now, a question. How many of you have parents who have an athletic background?
Not me.
I know in addition to your
mother.
coaches, you might have had parents or close relatives who were athletes in their young days in school, maybe still in school.
Not one.
Maybe you could say, and big up to all the parents, big up to all the schools. And BHS, pull up your socks. Look, I want to see I want to see BHS deal. You understand?
Yes.
BHS and wash it deal.
You wash it
But I got to do something. We got to get more breadfruit or something.
Just train
Is
hard.
there any special diet you all get? Because they say yam and breadfruit put you say both deal. So I want to know so we could start to give the basket children them some breadfruit. All right, have a good day to everybody.
Same to you.
Thank you, Miss Henry, for calling in. As you guys as she has indicated, I don't see any representative here from the Bastia High School, nor do I see any representative here from the Virtuals High School. I think those are the only. I think those are the only two schools.
And Keon.
Keon High School as well. No representative. We have a caller. Caller, you're live on Inside the News.
Good day. I would like to heartily congratulate all of those young people on the panel, and in particular, the lady who brings us gold. You know, I have to say that I want you all to stay focused because there were the people before you who had the potential to go much far. And for some reason, they just lapsed. I want you all to keep your eyes on the prize because your effort, you all are not unique in the sense that a lot of people got the same ability, but they don't have they don't apply themselves. Look how you all did. You know, with the effort and the discipline and put out the time. And everybody will see that when you come first, the few seconds I take, or the few minutes it takes for you to come first and get a medal, but they don't really realize the time you take to put in all that effort and energy and training. Because your success that you get as an individual is the pride that you would have for yourself, for your family, for your community, and for your nation as a whole. And I must say, we can't really congratulate you enough, and stay focused, and you all deserve every support, and your families especially. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. As Miss Henry would have asked a question, how many of you have parents who were once athletes? I think that's a good question.
Me, my daddy.
Say
my
that?
mother. My father.
So, okay then, each of you one by one, say your name and tell us a little bit about your parents who get close to the mic, say your name and tell us a little bit about your parents who would or was at one point in time involved in sports. Miss Morton, we're going to start with you.
My mother, Letia Keynes, she started in first farm, but she didn't really want to do it. My grandmother forced her.
Yes.
And she won all gold. She did high jump, javelin, shot put, everything.
Okay.
My father, Pedro Rose, he used to do long jump. He used to compete with a man named Kevin Clark. And maybe that's why you hear me. And I did hear that my grandmother could have won too.
Okay then.
My father, Patrick Vanterpool, is a dumpling. He never did any sport like that. My mom claims to say she used to run, but she was never a serious athlete, so
Yes.
I don't know where I get it from.
Okay then.
I got it from my mother, Tashina Howe. They used to call her Link because she was a long-distance athlete as well.
Okay then. What about you, Miss Warner?
My mother, Melissa Warner, she basically used to do everything,
Yes.
as she said. She used to do all the visits.
Okay then. Yes.
Well, I didn't have any parents who used to participate in sports, but I had an uncle, he used to do high jump.
That's
and
good.
he still got the
Still.
record.
Well, see, his family still would have been the sibling of one of your parents, and so the genes would be there as well. That would be passed down. What about you, Miss Jeffords? You don't know. You can't recall any of your parents or maybe persons in your family who might have had some sort of athletic,
My cousin, Rosalie Glassford.
Yes, she used to be a top athlete.
Okay then. I mean, the question which I first, when I said the question, it was based on your parents, but of course, it could be a family member as well, because you would share that sort of gene pool. And we have another caller. Caller, you're live on Inside the News.
Right. Good morning, Mr. Gums.
Good morning.
Yes, I too want to add my quote to have congratulations to these young ladies, and not just to the young ladies, but to the entire team. All of them are winners, although just a few might have won medals. They all represented the Federation well, and we just want to congratulate them on their performance and to tell other young people out there that through sports, it's an avenue for you to excel. And with sports, twinned with education, academics, the sky is the limit. So to all of them, keep going. Don't stop. We know that track and field can be a hectic activity. You have to be determined, hard work. You have to have determination, and so on. But we have persons within the community who those young people could look to, because they spoke about Maxim Isaiah, Coach Maxim Isaiah. I don't know how many of them are aware that Maxim was in the first Olympics we attended in Atlanta in 1996. And Maxim got his academic qualification because of a sports scholarship. We also would refer to Rhoda Johnson, who is the presently the deputy principal of the St. Paul's primary school, and she was the head coach of that same team that carried the team. Rhoda too, through track and field, got her opportunity for going to college to study. So that alone is an incentive for these young girls and all who are out there. Stay in track and field, use your ability. We know that we are poor people, and in order to get a free academic and get a free education, use your ability to get there. So again, congratulations to Trishani, especially the gold medalist, and Cousin Jarency. I guess Miss Henry did not realize that you are Jefferson, you are her cousin. So we say congratulations to all of you, and keep going. The sky is the limit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your words of encouragement to the young ladies here, the athletes of St. Kitts and Nevis. We have another caller. Caller, you're live on Inside the News. Caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Mr. Gomez. Let me congratulate the athletes. Yes. Hello?
Caller?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
I have a few questions to ask. I would like to know who is preparing these athletes, because listening to them there, acting all shy to talk to the mic.
Yes.
I want to know who's preparing them for, beyond the borders and the diaspora. Because, there are a lot of things that we can look at, like, Kim Collins, Usain Bolt, and what's his name, LeBron. Take LeBron James, for instance. He's at the height of his career, and he's going through racism. The athletes there in your studio, I heard you asking one of them to come up to the mic and talk to the mic. So my question is, who is preparing the international stage, where if they succeed and go further than here? Who is preparing these people to talk to the media and how to answer questions? That is my concern. If this is just an entertaining shop, then forgive me for saying, tickle me so I can... I think somebody needs to get serious here, don't you think?
Thank you, caller, for your contribution. I'm going to ask them the question. So you guys would have heard that. About some of you, you're a bit shy, yes. Is it that you guys have any coaches that would train you in the media so far? How to answer questions in the media?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Okay, then. And two, I must say too, we have a very limited mics as well. So we have maybe like 4 mics in studio, 4 mics, and we have more than 4 individuals. So sometimes if you hear me to come up to the mic, it's because they have to share the mics, and so to be all fair with them, they have to share the mics, and it's a number of them in the studio itself, and so because of that, we have to cooperate and share mics and stuff like that. So that could be one of the contributing factors to why they aren't as have to tell them come up and hold the mic and stuff like that. So I want to say that. So are you guys shy at all?
No.
No.
Yes.
I was at first, but
Uh-huh.
I kind of hang of it.
Good. I mean, it comes with experience and it comes with opportunities like this. Everyone has to start somewhere. And of course, this is an opportunity along with other opportunities. Caller, you're live on Inside the News.
Hello, yeah, I want to tell the girls now, our country is a tourism-based country. And when you're training, and whether in races or just casually, and the play field, you must always try your best to look professional. For there are persons who call scouts who are representatives of universities who will go to different countries, and they're looking at athletes. Sometimes there's no announcement that they would be here. You don't know, you might be a tourist who would have come in this morning, and there's some event up at King Collins venue, and a scout say he just wanted to just go to look at the games, and he'll be looking and seeing how you all perform. So there were times when you all will have to take it very seriously and look like you have the professionalism about you. So be serious with what you are doing. Just one event, and for those girls who are doing the long distances, there are some races that beyond with those Africans. You need to, get an interest in those races to see how those girls perform, those Africans, the Africans generally, and men as well. Maybe it's best if you should compete with men. They will pull you along a little better, but I know there's a sex exchange now in terms of competition. But I mean, in terms of the girls, they need to, I want to see you all do well, man. And when you all finish, and a race finishes, and you all are moving around, congratulate each other. You may not know the person from another country, but when you finish, that is what sports is for, to make friends and so on, and you don't know how far it will take you. Thanks.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution. And so we're going to continue getting to know the athletes. For the first half, what my focus has been is getting to know the athletes, where they're from, which school they represent. And on the second half of the program, hoping to gain more of the experience at Carifta, leaving the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and representing the Federation overseas in the Bahamas. Their experience, whether or not it would have been the first time that they would have represented St. Kitts and Nevis, whether it was the second time, the third time, and how that experience has been, and how competing with others in various countries, from various countries, such as Jamaica. I know Jamaica would have won, and we're going to do that in the second half of the program after the news to see how your experience was, what you learned from that experience and things like that, and how was traveling overseas. We're going to get that in the second half of the program, but I want us to continue with this half as it comes to an end, getting to know you. So let me see. Could any one of you tell me, we are going to break soon for the news. I just want you to tell me, each of you, who your, if you have any role model in sports and who that role model is.
Shelly Ann Fraser Price.
Genzebe Dibaba.
Okay. Go ahead. I heard from Miss Clark and Miss Howe, but I don't think I've heard from any other. So go ahead. You could tell me if you have any role models in sports.
Chanel Cook.
Chanel Cook. Okay.
Elaine Thompson.
Elaine Thompson. Miss Jeffers, what about you? You have any role model in sports? No. None? Okay then. What about you, Miss Warner? No role model in sports. Miss Vanderpool?
Probably my coach.
Your coach. Okay. Anybody that you think does a really good job in sports, representing his or her country and, being victorious in what he or she does. Anybody?
Men think I understand.
Anybody in sports, okay. You might not be a role model, but anybody that you think does well in sports and represents
Tamika.
Tamika? Okay then. We have a caller. You're live on Inside the News.
Oh, yes. Mr. Gums, I am glad you asked that question, you know.
Yes.
How many of them are aware of Kim Collins? And maybe ask them, have they ever met him? And if not, I think their coaches or whoever should arrange to have them meet, not only with Kim, but with those who have gone to Australia. Because, I mean, your hero must start here.
I got a picture with Kim Collins.
So did I.
You understand? So I want to know that they should get more in contact with him, you know? And all Rogers and Brunda and the rest.
Well, Miss Vanderpool and Miss House said that they have pictures with Kim Collins.
But nobody call his name. What kind of story that? Everybody except their own. What is that? Please, look, if you all haven't met him, please arrange Mr. Sport Director for them to at least have lunch with Kim, go out with Kim, take the picture with Kim. And you have this girl, Williams. You have young women who went to Olympics who are around here still, who are coaching. Please to get each of them to have a picture taken with these people who went to the Olympics, who went to Carifta.
My coach, Maxim Isaiah, went to Olympics.
Yeah, I talk about a female now. They have them here. I think one of them must be maybe washi coach or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not criticizing you, right? But your hero must start here. All right then.
Thank you for your contribution, Miss Henry. We're going. On that high note, we're going to break for the midday news and come back. Yes, come back.
You're coming back? Come back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The Cable, we provide much more than just the fastest and most reliable internet service. We fill the homes of all our customers with joy and laughter. Our services connect friends and keep families together. With the most extensive fiber optic network, we ensure that you can enjoy the things you love with the people you love. Whether it's catching up with family or old friends, or simply just enjoying your favorite TV shows, people choose the Cable because quality shows.
It's Easter, and it's time to hunt your prize. Come and celebrate Easter at the City Drugstore Nevis. Here are the rules. 1. Visit the store. 2. Browse for what you want and browse some more. 3. Choose wisely, and if you present a product with special clues, you win. Prizes include discounts, TDC gift cards, sweet treats, and much more. What's Easter without some shopping fun? So visit the City Drugstore this Easter and win big in our Hunt Your Prize promotion.
Digicel's Cashback is back! Top up $20 or more. Perform a transaction in the My Digicel app or purchase one of 3 of our Cashback handsets. And enter for your chance to be one of 2 winners of $500 every Friday. Top up, sign up, use the My Digicel app or purchase a handset to win today. Only with Digicel.
Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, FamCare, Subway, Carib Brewery, and CNC Trading.
Come to Subway and eat fresh. Try our daily specials. That's right, we have a special every day at Subway. Come in today and eat fresh. Stay healthy.
Every country has a story of its own, and the people who live there are the ones that tell it best.
This is Carib Country!
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secure. Oh, oh, oh. Deal while win and go. People you can try. It's not free. 30 days in April. Stick with me. Take a pick on the discount. Percentage free. 30 to 50 off comprehensive premium. And if you got a third party, take the maximum. You got 10 days. Use it as you wish. Alternative transport. Not a penny to your list. You get a brand new ride if your car's written off within the first 12 months. Tell me how does that sound? Yeah, yeah, sounds good, doesn't it? It don't stop there, cause I ain't really finished yet. Call the group up, tell them it's okay. We can ride free, knowing medical is in our lane. No additional cost, so whether it's the act of God or a critical loss, tomorrow we're secured cause we got you on our minds. People you can trust, you can hold it to your dime. Ride free this Easter. Contact the Little Walwyn in St. Kitts, 465-2631, or in Nevis, 469-5303. Conditions apply. Ride free.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
BioCare Lab says it's your hair, so wear it your way with Curls and Naturals Hair Care Solutions. Start it right with Curls and Naturals Texturizer Hair Softener, infused with Moroccan argan oil, and maintain it with the Dream Curl Cream with honey and shea butter, all with daily moisturizing anti-fizz and shine serum. For locks and twists, nourish them with a curl defining custard and see them grow. It's your hair. Wear it your way with Curls and Naturals. A brand new you every day.
Curls and Natural, sold locally by CNC Trading on the CAP Southwell Industrial Site. Telephone 465-4081.
The Police High Command is advising members of the media fraternity to familiarize themselves with the relevant laws as it pertains to reporting on sexual offenses. This comes on the heels of a highly publicized allegation of rape in Bastyr and accusations that the police were covering up and protecting the accused individual by not naming and charging him when he was arrested over the weekend. The man was subsequently charged with 2 counts of rape. The High Command, in a statement issued on Friday, said it has come to realize that there are some media entities that may not be familiar with the relevant legislation regarding such matters. Media practitioners were cautioned to report on sexual offenses responsibly. The statement said, quote, "Sexual offenses are extremely sensitive in nature. There are many factors, both current and those that may arise in the future, that media entities should take into consideration when publishing information relating to such crimes. Editors should be guided by their journalistic training, sound ethical practices, and the law to ensure that all information published does not have an adverse effect on the victim, the case, or the accused if exonerated, and it should also comply with the laws of the land." End quote. They attached the relevant section of the Offenses Against the Persons Act, which speaks to reporting on sexual offenses. The law states that after a person is charged with a sexual offense, no matter which is likely to lead the public to identify a person as the complainant or as the accused, shall either be published in a written publication or be broadcast in St. Kitts and Nevis. A person who publishes or broadcasts any matter contrary to this commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $5,000 or imprisonment of a term not exceeding 2 years. Offenses that fall under the section of the legislation include rape, defilement of a girl under 16 years of age, indecent assault, sodomy, incest, any offense involving children, and any attempt to commit any of those offenses.
Tourism officials on Nevis welcomed the captain and crew of the MV Silver Muse on Friday when the ship made its inaugural call during an unscheduled visit to the island. Mr. Greg Phillip, Chief Executive Officer in the Nevis Tourism Authority, who led the welcoming delegation, said they were pleased for the visit, which gave the 400 passengers an opportunity to enjoy Nevis. He expressed hope that they would find favor with the destination and return for future visits. Quote, "We hope that the clientele that you have on board, now that they would have had a wonderful time, in the future, your ship and its guests would see it fit to actually return to Nevis. In fact, we are confident that they would want to come back." End quote. Captain Marco Sangiscomo said, having visited the island previously with other ships of Silver Sea Cruises, said he was sure that the guests would have appreciated the beautiful island, and he hopes it will not be the Silver Muse's last call to Nevis. Mr. Devon Liebert, Director of Sales and Marketing at the NTA, who chaired the welcoming ceremony, said they were pleased that the company Silver Sea Cruises had chosen to visit Tranquil Nevis over the other destinations the Caribbean region offered.
The 3 young men accused of murdering 17-year-old Leanna Napoleon in May 2017 have been committed to stand trial in the High Court. The high school student went missing on May 8th after writing a CXC exam that morning. On June 14th, her remains were discovered in a shallow grave in the Olivese Hills, which border the northern end of Buckley's. 3 days later, Leanna's brother, 19-year-old Brandon Lee Wells of Buckley's Housing Development, who was at the time a suspect in her disappearance, was arrested and charged with murder. 2 of his associates were also charged with murder: Travian Liddy, an 18-year-old male resident of St. Johnston's Village, and 19-year-old Ivan Chinaman Phillip of Shadwell. An autopsy revealed that Leanna died from blunt force trauma to the head. The preliminary inquiry began on January 29th, but had several adjournments. Director of Public Prosecutions Valston Graham and Police Prosecutor Trevon Richards represented the Crown. Defense Attorney Chesley Hamilton represented Wells, Natasha Gray represented Liddy, and Jason Hamilton represented Phillip. On Friday, Chief Magistrate Josephine Malalou ruled that there was sufficient evidence for the trio to be tried for the teen's murder. The young men were returned to Her Majesty's Prison, having been remanded without bail when charged.
The team representing St. Kitts and Nevis at the Commonwealth Games is now 1 member down, as sprinter Antoine Adams was forced to withdraw due to an injury. Word came late Friday afternoon through a release that Adams was going through his training regimen on Thursday, when team coach Lonzo Wilkinson became concerned at the way Adams carried his stride in the last minutes of a 60-meter wind sprint. Medical Director David Stephen, who has been working with Adams since he arrived on the Gold Coast a week ago, diagnosed Adams with a hamstring injury. An MRI later confirmed a grade 1 tear, ruling him out of further competition. The remaining track athletes, Jason Rogers, Warren Hazel, and Chanel Crook, begin preliminary heats over the weekend. We now bring you this report from Antigua's Observer Radio,
where Prime Minister Alan Chastney has admitted that his United Workers' Party used the services of 2 firms embroiled in an international data mining and election manipulation scandal. The 2 firms are Strategic Communication Laboratories, or SCL, in the UK, and associated firm Cambridge Analytica in the United States. They are being investigated in the US and the UK for illegal online data mining in support of political campaigning. But outside the US and the UK, the two companies, SCL and Cambridge Analytica, are reported to have done work all over the world. More recently, opposition MPs in St. Lucia demanded a response from the Prime Minister to reports from several news agencies that SCL was involved with the United Workers' Party's failed 2011 re-election bid. The UWP was at the time led by then Prime Minister Stephenson King. The matter came up in St. Lucia's Parliament during debate on the budget, when Chasney openly admitted that the SLC, or SCL rather, was contracted by the party, as we hear in this HTS News Force report.
Opposition leader Philip J. Pierre alluded to an alleged link between SCL Group and the former Stephenson King-led administration in Parliament during the debate on the 2018-2019 estimates in late March.
This government will be called very soon to tell the public of St. Lucia if they ever had any relationship with Cambridge Analytica.
Prime Minister Alan Chasney, who served as Minister of Tourism in the former King administration, confirmed SCL's involvement in the 2011 United Workers' Party election campaign.
Our party previously used SCL, which is a political firm, to do polling for us, and that's it.
In a March 20th Bloomberg article, an unnamed source in the former King administration claimed SCL conducted, quote, a research project for the government to understand how to stem rising crime according to its marketing presentations, end quote, and later, quote, offered to help King on his 2011 election campaign for free, end quote. Bloomberg's source alleged a US $1.9 million payout was reportedly promised to SCL by King's administration after a successful re-election bid. SCL Group was to continue working in St. Lucia on a, quote, public health campaign focusing on smoking and obesity, end quote, at a cost of $1 million plus and additional $900,000 for their help with the 2011 campaign.
We now bring you this international report.
We've never really heard publicly from North Korea that it was willing to go forward with the talks after the South Koreans extended an offer from Kim Jong-un, the North Korean leader, to President Trump to meet, and President Trump accepted. And we've been waiting to hear something. Now CNN has learned, multiple officials tell myself, and CNN's Kevin Liptak and Jenna McLaughlin, that the U.S. and North Korea have been meeting. CIA officials, this is being run by the CIA Director Mike Pompeo. These kind of lower level officials have been meeting with North Korea intel officials. They've been speaking on the phone, have even met in a third country, initially starting to prepare for these talks with nailing down a location. The North Koreans have asked for a meeting in Pyongyang. Not really sure that the White House is going to be up for that, but Mongolia, the capital of Mongolia, has also been raised. And I think this really shows, you know, the involvement of CIA Director Mike Pompeo. We understand this is all in concert to try and set up a meeting before the summit with Director Pompeo and his North Korean counterpart, the head of North Korean intelligence. And I think as he comes on as Secretary of State, we'll hear a lot more about his role.
And Elise, this is what many, when the talks were initially agreed to by the president, expected would have happened and should have happened before there was a summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un.
That's right. I mean, look, you don't just have a meeting of this nature, a summit between two leaders with so many tough issues, particularly denuclearization, before kind of preparatory talks. A lot of this is going to be going on in secret, Victor. But, you know, this North Korea CIA intelligence channel has been in existence, and the White House felt that this is the way to kind of prepare that going forward. There's an interagency process that's being run out of the National Security Council as National Security Advisor John Bolton, who starts work Monday. He was already in the office today, comes on. I'm sure he'll take a bigger role. And as Director Pompeo comes on as Secretary of State, I think you'll see that all start to gel.
Welcome to the Caribbean Technology Roundup for the weekend of the 6th of April.
with host Russell Williams. U.S. Virgin Islands delegate calls for greater use of renewable power in rebuilding the Virgin Islands system. Recovering from the devastation of the 2 hurricanes that hit the U.S. Virgin Islands last September has created the opportunity to rebuild the island's power structure to lower energy costs, increase the reliability of the grid, reduce dependence on imported fuel, and keep USVI dollars in the territory. That was the opinion of U.S. Delegate to Congress Stacey Plaskett as she addressed a gathering that included former U.S. President Bill Clinton and a host of Caribbean leaders on Tuesday. Plaskett joined Clinton and other Caribbean leaders at the Clinton Global Initiative Action Network, an event at the University of Miami, to address post-hurricane relief. The session encouraged participants to partner on solutions to restore electricity following disasters and to come together around a vision for long-term, more sustainable and resilient energy systems, according to a news release from Plaskett's office. Plaskett said that the USVI has abundant wind and solar resources and has a higher penetration of renewable technology than several of the territory's Caribbean neighbours. Accordingly, there is a significant opportunity and need to build on this progress to expand the use of renewable energy in the USVI. She stressed that the rebuilding effort must be done the right way, so that when faced with natural disasters in future, we will not have to spend massive amounts to recover. While the federal funding does not include the full amount or all of the requests of the Virgin Islands, it will help us substantially in the rebuilding efforts. While Plaskett had proposed allowing any available public assistance funding to be used to rebuild facilities and infrastructure to a more resilient state than pre-storm conditions, she welcomes any additional flexibility in rebuilding as a step forward. Caribbean animator finds success with Netflix. Joash Berkeley, a 23-year-old Trinidadian freelance animator and motion designer based in California, has taken his love of colors and motion to new heights, working on projects with big-name companies such as Walmart and Netflix. Berkeley attended San Fernando Central Secondary School in Trinidad, where his introduction to graphic design began by editing photos for his classmates, when a friend suggested that he actively pursue a career in the field of digital arts. Taking that advice, Berkeley went on to the Savannah College of Art and Design and obtained a Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Motion Media Design. Through determination and asking a lot of questions, which helped him to widen his knowledge, he managed to land an internship at Apple. In 2017, he founded J. Berkeley Studios and began making a name for himself. Notably, he worked on animations for Facebook's promotional banners and the opening titles for the hit Netflix series Annie with an E in collaboration with the series director Alan Williams. Berkeley said that this distinction comes in the smoothness in which animations flow and his use of colors in telling the story. I can use colors to track the viewer's eyes, to make them see specific things or feel specific things, Berkeley said. He noted that an integral part of survival in business is making sure that you consistently market yourself online, putting out projects for people to see, and making sure that you are ready at all times to do business. He said that since his first few projects, he began to achieve the level of recognition where clients were beginning to reach out to him. Berkeley encourages all Caribbean nationals to pursue their dreams in all fields, even if they don't fit traditional molds. He noted that he himself did not know anything about animation prior to attending Savannah College of Art and Design, but putting his all into the work paid off. If you're interested in studying something other than law, business, accounting, medicine, and engineering, which is what everybody studies, then you should go for it, Berkeley said. He also noted that being passionate about what you do will go a long way, something that he enjoys in his field because it is filled with people who are willing to share ideas. He believes that the Caribbean is blessed with limitless potential but lacks the resources, so he encourages nationals to keep seeking out ways to get to where those resources are. He emphasized that asking questions will be the most important part of that process and encourages people to ask as many questions as possible and learn from successful people in their desired field. If you ask one person for their advice, you've learned something you wouldn't already know. If you do that with 100 people, you've learned 100 things you wouldn't know, Berkeley added. Computer coding and robotics pilot to be launched in St. Lucia. 4 secondary schools have been selected and will be outfitted with the necessary tools for a computer coding and robotics pilot project in St. Lucia. The computer coding and robotics pilot is a groundbreaking endeavor that is intended to derive positive behavioral changes in students through their engagement in both computer coding and robotics. Funding and technical support for this pilot project has been made possible by USAID through the Community, Family and Youth Resilience Program, whose aim is to identify families and their youth that are at risk and to help them build resiliency. Equipment for the pilot project will be installed at Benfield in Vieux-Fort, the Bocage in Castries, Grand Riviere in Dennery and Soufrière Comprehensive Secondary Schools. The Department of Education, Innovation and Gender Relations has been working very closely with project officers over the past few months to design, prepare and implement this pilot. 12 teachers and 4 youth mentors have been trained to teach basic computer coding using the LEGO Mindstorms platform. The selected schools are also being equipped with the necessary hardware to facilitate teaching the newly developed coding and robotics curriculum. The robotics component is an essential part of the program. The very practical nature of robots and the myriad of applications that they can serve makes them the ideal environment to begin to learn how to code. While working with the robots, students are able to see the outcomes of their coding more immediately, said curriculum specialist for technology integration, Jermaine Anthony. Coding is problem solving. This requires critical thinking and often involves creativity. It is anticipated that this program will evoke higher cognitive development among students. Part of the rationale for this pilot program, he said, is born out of the need to modernize the school curriculum. Many students, Anthony said, are not fully engaged nor motivated by the traditional curriculum. He said that the program aims to captivate learners by immersing them in technology while they engage in activities that help their concept development with respect to STEM subjects. Throughout the course of the program, students will be monitored for any changes in their general outlook, academic performance, attendance, discipline, skills acquisition, and self-efficacy, among other attributes. The outcomes of this pilot will be used to inform future endeavors in the teaching of computer coding and robotics in schools. A hackathon is being planned as the main culminating activity. This will feature the students' work and a set of competitive challenges for some very generous prizes. That's the Caribbean Tech Roundup for this week with me, Russell Williams. For more detailed information on these stories, visit the news section on the WinFM website. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend.
The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, FamCare, Subway, Carib Brewery, and CNC Trading.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Every country has a story of its own, and the people who live there are the ones that tell it best.
This is Carib Country!
It is Carrot.
Is your hair thinning, shedding, or breaking? BioCare Labs has researched the causes of split ends, thinning, dry, and brittle hair and has developed a product to solve these weak hair problems. We call it Strong Ends Products. If you desire to grow strong, healthy hair, Strong Ends Products is your solution. Formulated with potent natural ingredients like honey and shea butter to deposit and retain moisture, castor and almond oil for scalp and roots, and aloe vera and coconut milk for strength. Try the full line of Strong Ends hair products and grow healthy, beautiful hair.
Strong Ends, sold locally by CNC Trading on the CIP Southwell Industrial Site. Telephone 465-4081.
Come to Subway and eat fresh. Try our daily specials. That's right, we have a special every day at Subway. Come in today and eat fresh. Stay healthy.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secure. Deal while win and go. People you can try. 30 days in April. Stick with me. Take a pick on the discount. Percentage free. 30 to 50 off comprehensive premium. And if you got a third party, take the maximum. You got 10 days. Use it as you wish. Alternative transport, not a penny to your list. You get a brand new ride if your car's written off within the first 12 months. Tell me how does that sound? Yeah. Sounds good, doesn't it? It don't stop there, cause I ain't really finished yet. Call the group up, tell them it's okay. We can ride free, knowing medical is in our lane. No additional cost. So whether it's the act of God or a critical loss, tomorrow we're secured cause we got you on our minds. People you can trust, you can hold it to your dime. Ride free this Easter. Contact the Little Walwyn in St. Kitts, 465-2631, or in Nevis, 469-5303. Conditions apply. Ride free.
Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
And we are back to Inside the News, today's edition of Inside the News. I am your host, Azad Gums, and with me are some young athletes who represented St. Kitts and Nevis at the Carifta Games 2018. And throughout the first half of the program, these young athletes would have given us a bit about themselves, the school in which they represent, and the community in which they are from. And so we're going into the Carifta journey now, recognizing that these young athletes would have represented the St. Kitts and Nevis. Well, they represented St. Kitts and Nevis just recently last week, it was something coming out of this week, yes. So they will have left the federation last week in hopes of, doing extremely well for St. Kitts and Nevis, and they did just that. But before we go into the Carifta experience, the Carifta journey 2018, there were some callers who made some inquiries and some concerns as it relates to the athletes getting training in media. And so we have the team manager here, Mr. Francis, and I'm going to ask him that question. Are there any plans for the SKN AAA to actually have some sort of training with the young athletes so they could get better exposed to the media, they could be more composed, and so when they represent the federation or even themselves, they could give a very good representation or give the federation a good branding?
Okay, good afternoon everybody.
Good afternoon.
The SKN AAA will be hosting some communication workshops with the athletes. The communication workshop will be sessioned and basically run by Mr. Val Henry, who's the president of SKN AAA, and he also has a business basically, which is VH Communications, which helps with communicating, answering questions when it comes to interviews, etc. He also was one of my trainers for the Mr. GQ show as well. And so he will be taking charge of that. So the athletes will be very prepared and well-rounded when it comes to answering questions.
Okay, thank you very much. So those persons who have had concerns, about the athletes having training to represent St. Kitts and Nevis so they can represent themselves well as well when they go overseas, because we recognize that when it is that you're from a small country like St. Kitts and Nevis and doing well as you guys did, I am told that you would have placed 10th. Is it 10?
Yes.
Out of how many countries?
28.
28 countries. So out of 28 countries, we here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we placed 10th. And when I say we, because you guys, because of the hard work that you guys did, we can now say that St. Kitts and Nevis placed 10th in that championship. And you must realize how important what you did have done. You guys represented St. Kitts. You guys have put St. Kitts on the map as it relates to such a stellar performance at the CARIFTA 2018. And so now I'm going to ask you, coming from St. Kitts and entering into a new territory, the Bahamas, in the place in which it was hosted, what was your experience like? What was your journey like? Were you nervous? Were you frightened?
It was very exciting to be in a ambassador for St. Kitts CARIFTA Games.
Anyone else?
It was nerve-wracking and exciting.
Nerve-wracking and exciting. I want to hear the other comments.
Yes.
It was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was a good experience.
Miss Warner, what about you? Coming up.
Same.
The same? Was it first time for you?
Yes.
Okay then. How many of you was it the first time for? All of you?
Except for you mean
This is my second time.
Going to CARIFTA Games?
on the CARIFTA Games?
Yes.
Oh, it's first.
First time.
Yes.
This is my
Yes.
second time experiencing.
Second time experiencing. So for only Miss Clark, it will have been your second time, but for everyone else, it's your first time. What about representing St. Kitts in athletic competition?
First for me.
First for you, Miss Howe.
Second. First time.
Third time.
Third time. Okay, then what I'm going to do, because we have... Oh, go ahead.
I think just to highlight as well for the entire team, most was their first time representing the Federation at the CARIFTA Games. However, we had, for example, Maya Clark, we have Leroy Chapman, we had Rianda Richards, we also have Dimitri Brown, we also have Tijari Atherton, who also represented us before in the CARIFTA Games, especially last year as well. So, but this year we had a lot of newcomers, and so it was a really good feat.
So what I'm going to do, thank you for that, Mr. Francis. What I'm going to do is ask each of you then, because it was a bit, persons giving their comments. So for persons, what I want to ask you, when was the first time you represented St. Kitts, and what competition was that? So I'm going to go from Miss Morton, go all the way down to Miss Romney? Yes. So from Miss Morton to Miss Romney. When was the first time you represented St. Kitts, regionally, internationally, or otherwise?
Just CARIFTA.
CARIFTA 2018, first time, Miss Morton.
CARIFTA, OECS. CARIFTA and OECS.
CARIFTA and OECS, that's Miss Clark.
My first experience was in 2015, I think. I represented St. Kitts for the Cup Games in Trinidad.
CARIFTA for me.
CUT and CARIFTA.
CUT?
Yeah. CAC in Curacao. That was when I was in grade 6. I don't remember the year, but when I was in grade 6.
I participated in the Cut Games 2015.
2015, okay. And how, for those persons who represented St. Kitts previously, how was the experience different for the CARIFTA Games? Was it a different experience for the CARIFTA Games? Was it more challenging? Was it just something else, like the norm? Or was there some sort of difference? That's what I want from you. Was there some sort of difference between representing St. Kitts at the Cut Games and representing St. Kitts at the Carifta Games or any other game?
Yes, I would say there was a difference. Carifta is a more intense game compared to the rest of them.
It's more intense.
Yes, it is.
Okay then. So all of you would share that answer that Carifta is more intense compared to the other times you would have represented St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to Carifta, and you're going to the Bahamas. How was it packing? How was it holding your nerves? Were any of you anxious, frightened?
Yes.
Miss Romney, you were frightened?
Bad.
Why?
Because this was my first time, and knowing that I was very young, not really young, but young.
How old are you?
14.
14.
It felt good to me knowing that I would be there with my companions like Nikisha Howe, Sharim Hamilton, Kenya Romney. Those are persons who I train with, so I was very comfortable with the fact that traveling with them, it was a really great experience being with them and other people from the school and meeting new people amongst the team.
Good.
I was scared because I would have been competing with people from Jamaica and all the other countries, and seeing them they run, they just made me wonder like, what does do that me don't do? So it had me anxious until I get the hang of it. Like I was just okay. It is what it is.
That's very interesting. A lot of you would have seen on television, when you watch the Olympics and stuff like this, you would see a lot of the athletes from the various countries participating, and Jamaica is one of the countries that stands out when it comes to athletics, track and field. And so you guys would have had the opportunity to compete with the Jamaicans who were the winners for Carifta 2018?
Yeah.
As always. So let me ask you, going to the Bahamas, you said that some of you were nervous first time. Getting there now, actually being a part of the event, having to do the match pass, because all of you would match pass with representing your countries at the flag raising and stuff like that. How did that make you feel at that point in time, wearing the national colors of the federation?
It was exciting.
Patriotic.
Yes, I feel good because we did a lot better than some of them.
Expound on that.
Like,
you don't have to call the country's name.
No, we
but
don't call them, but
you could just expound how.
When I watch my St. Kitts close to some of them, I'm just like, what country you from? Make you look so? Like, they don't just look so bad.
So you're saying that your uniform was very good.
Yeah, it looked better than some of them.
So kudos to the team then, the AAA for the uniforms in which you wore.
Yes, kudos to you.
Okay then, so I'm getting that our uniforms were very good and the athletes were very comfortable in the uniform. They felt very proud wearing our uniform.
Yes, they make me look good.
Yes. And so, walking on that platform, doing the match pass, it might sound simple, but that is where the eyes are on you. The way in which you interact, the way in which you move. Some persons might not have seen or been to might not have seen any other Kittitian that before seeing you. You might have been the first faces of Kittitian division people that they would have seen, and at that very instant, the cameras on you. They may not have come and visit St. Kitts and Nevis before, and so what you portrayed to them at that time might have been the only piece of St. Kitts and Nevis that they know. So it's very good that you guys were comfortable in your uniform, and it's very important that even at that might seem simple event, you're showcasing your country. And so it means that all of you would have to be on your best behavior Even though the sun might be a bit hot, was the sun hot?
No.
Okay, good. So even if you were uncomfortable at that point in time, it means that you have to, for the better of representing your country, put on a good face. So all of you put on a good face then while marching.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And so after that now, and you're going into, let's say, the activities and stuff, you have the first set of activities to do. You know which activity you're most famous for, what race you're going to participate in. How did you feel just moments before going and participating in those activities?
Nervous.
Wonderful, nervous?
I was scared because the girls them was very big.
Explain, like, from which, well, you don't have to call it countries, but compared to you,
Yeah.
which race was this? Which event?
I was
this?
doing a HEP, so I was doing 7 events.
Oh, and the girls in those 7 events were bigger than you?
Big, yes. And I believe I was the youngest one.
How did that made you nervous?
Yeah, because it was big.
But how did you perform with them?
Well, I try, but it wasn't my best. But I know I could do better.
Yes. Okay. So that was Jefford's experience. What about Miss Morton, Miss Clark, Miss Vanderpool, Miss Hall, Miss Warner, Miss Romney? How was your experience?
I was nervous.
You were nervous.
I think I could have done
Mhm.
better if
Yeah.
my hamstring
Mhm.
did not
Mhm.
pull.
Yes.
Could have make it to the finals, but
Mhm.
it is what it is.
Mhm.
Okay. I admit I was not very fit before competing in the Carifta Games because I was on a hamstring injury and I was trying to recover quickly before I traveled. Unfortunately, in the 400-meter hurdles, I didn't get to perform as I thought I would. But in the 3,000 meters, I was able to accomplish a personal best and win a bronze medal, in the 4x400, in the 4x4 meters. So I feel
Mhm.
good about that.
Congratulations.
Well, I was very, 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 very anxious. Like when I was in the call room, and he had a lot of people in the 15, and when I asked in the age group, them are here in 17, some of them done 18, and I was just like, so me 116. So it was basically the youngest, and like when I was on the line and there was announced in the country and all them things there, and he had a Jamaican right next to me, and when I called your name, you hear the crowd goes wild, and now you hear Nikisha, it's just like you hear in cricket. That happened in all the races. They're like, you hear saying kids? Everybody just quiet. Like,
that's not true.
I also came down with an injury, so I really couldn't perform my best. But I tried.
Yes. Well, your colleague says that, they were cheering you on, but I guess when it comes to the numbers, the number of Jamaican there without...
Yeah, I had a lot.
outnumber, yeah.
And Bahamas.
It would outnumber. And of course the Bahamas, because they're in their home. Yeah. But the Carifta Games were in sync is just, I think, 2015. So, you see?
We had a good bit to crowd.
Yeah, that would have been the chance to hear the crowd roaring, Yes. So, Miss Warner, what about you? Because you were able to beat them all. You were able to beat the Jamaicans and the other countries. So, what about you?
Well, when I was running 800, it was a good experience because I was the youngest there. Most of them was 16, and I'm surprised that I could have kept up with them because I thought they would have went like a man and go. that was all of them to do, basically. But it was a good experience.
So let me get you, because you were able to capture gold in your race. When it was you were preparing, you were getting ready, just before you would start the race. What were you thinking?
I was thinking that I could place in the race, and I must walk the place.
Mm-hmm. And then when you started the race, you're going through. How did you start it? Let me ask you. How did you start the race? Did you start very quickly? Did you pace yourself? Did you start very slowly? Were you behind?
I just paced myself behind the pack of girls, and then the last lap, I just decided to go.
Mm-hmm. And so when you realized you were actually had enough energy to pass them, what was in your mind?
When when I realized that I was passing the Jamaica, I said to myself, I could win this race, so I fight to the finish.
Mm-hmm.
And beat the Jamaica.
Yes. And after winning that race, how did you feel?
Excited about beating a Jamaican. So easy.
Uh-huh. And so after that was over, did the Jamaican counterparts did they come up and congratulate you? Did other persons from the other countries come up and congratulate you?
No, I just went and interviewed with the guy, the Westerman.
So
I hear they say the Jamaican girl was vexed.
Yeah.
But ain't bad me.
We're small but we're taller, So Miss Jeffords, what about you? You're going on the race. You're going now. But wait, I started with you already.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So
Well,
Miss Miss Morton. Miss Morton, what about you? What race did you participate at the Carifta?
The 200 meters.
The 200 meters. And what was your position in the end?
Fourth.
Just on the medal, on the medal count, on the medal in, which would be fourth? I mean, first, second, and third, you would receive a medal.
It was heats.
Oh, heats. Okay then, no problem. So, this is you now. You've already represented your school here in St. Kitts. You are now at the Carifta Games, one of the best athletes within your time and your age. One of the best athletes in St. Kitts and Nevis. You're now, for the first time, participating against other countries. What was going through your mind?
I felt scared because I was the youngest and smallest on the line, but I tried my best and placed fourth.
Mm-hmm.
She did a personal PB as well.
Yes.
You did a personal best as well?
Yes.
And how did that make you feel at that point in time?
I felt good because they made me run. They made me run hard.
That's your coaches here from the SK and AAA.
Yeah.
I see. And so all of you would now have given us an insight as to how you felt on the line. What about interacting with the team? How was preparation there with the management team at Carifta? Your coaches, were they tough? Were they supportive?
Yeah,
How were they?
Yeah, they were very supportive. They kept
motivating us.
Miss Johnson told me I could have won the race.
She told you you could have won the race.
I come up successfully.
Yes. Congratulations again. Go ahead, Miss Jeffords.
Me, on the first day I had 4 events to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess from the 100 meter hurdles, it made me do everything else bad because that was the first event.
Yeah.
And then Miss Johnson tell me must put that behind me, and then do my best for the best 3 events.
Mm-hmm.
So I placed first in the 800 and javelin.
You placed fourth, you said?
First
in the 800
and javelin.
Well, that's That's very good. What about you, Miss Romney?
Huh? Well, I participated in the 1500 meters. I also got a new PB, but the race was packed. But I came 10th. But that's how it is. So.
And so I must say congratulations to all of you, those persons who gave their best, all of you who gave your best, because I can't run the pace that you run. I am not as athletic as you, So kudos to you. And many of us aren't athletic as you, and so you represent one of the core group, one of the best athletic persons within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. You are one of our best. So, of course, when you go out there and you are representing St. Kitts and Nevis, you ought to remember that, I am one of the best athletes within my federation, and this is my time to show persons that I can do it. This is time to show myself that I can do it, and this is time to represent my federation to the best of my ability, to ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis has that strong force out there regardless. And so we are supposed to be patriotic and are supposed to be rallying around each other to ensure that when we represent St. Kitts and Nevis, we represent it to the best of our ability, because we are St. Kitts and Nevis. You understand? It's more than just the country, more than just the physical environment. It's St. Kitts and Nevis, it's its people. And so each one of us represent pool together to represent that federation, and so we must understand that, and we must, regardless what we're doing, whether big or small, when we go outside there, all of us, we represent St. Kitts and Nevis. Even when you're traveling now, like before, but even some more now, especially on official business, you represent St. Kitts and Nevis, and that's what you have to keep thinking. You represent St. Kitts and Nevis. The way in which you interact with people, the way in which you respond to comments, the way in which you move on that platform, everyone will be watching, and you represent for them Kittition or Nevision. Okay? So you must take it seriously. So I also open up the phone lines to callers. The numbers to call, it's 466-0989, 762-0989, 662-0989. And we're talking about the experience at the Carifta Games 2018. Their participation, of course, St. Kitts and Nevis placed 10th out of some 20-something countries, 28 countries. And if you know, St. Kitts and Nevis is one of the smallest countries in the world. And so it means that even amongst our counterparts in the Carifta Games, we would be one of the smallest nations. And so to place 10th out of 28 countries is a phenomenal achievement. And it's something that we all should be proud of. We all should be proud of our athletes, our representatives who went out there and did their best to ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis has a good standing within the international community, the regional community as it relates to sports. And maybe one of these days we could take down the Jamaicans and be the first, many times to take down the Jamaicans. Yes. Yes. And so let me ask you this. Having participated in Carifta, are you anxious to participate again?
Well, this is my last year, so I can't compete again.
Your last year, Miss Clark.
My focus is Olympics.
So I want to hear Miss Clark say this one here. And I want to hear you well, and I want others to hear you as well.
This is my last year, so I cannot compete again. My main focus is Olympics.
Yes, Olympics. And we do need persons to qualify for the Olympics to represent St. Kitts and Nevis. So I wish you the best on your new journey.
Which is in the next 2 years.
Yes.
So I have to prep for that.
Prep. Miss Howe, you were saying something?
Well, now that I've done experience and stuff, I'm ready for next year.
You ready for next year?
Yeah. I want to beat the Jamaican girls.
What you say, Miss Warner? Because having won that race, and I'm sure there are going to be persons who would watch that race, would watch that race, would anticipate, what needs to be done in order to be victorious next year. So of course everybody looks at who would have won the year before, and to see how they could improve on that. So how about you? Are you nervous at all, Miss Warner?
No, but I wish to go back next year. Because I know they will come back stronger.
Yes.
Me too.
Yes. So, Miss Morton, what about you? Having been to CRIFTA 2018, are you excited about next year?
Yes.
Excited. What about you? We have a caller. Caller, you're live on Inside the News.
Oh, good afternoon, me again.
Yes, Miss Henry.
Me and my heroines.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel so good. Now, let me state, we are on our way to the Olympics. I remember when Kim Collins, I think the first thing he won was a bronze,
Yeah, I think so.
You understand? He won a bronze, and then Dr. Simon said, we are on the way to Olympics. Me and all used to laugh, I must confess. Because we didn't even win a silver. We won a bronze. And they launched Olympics 1996. That's what I call vision, Now we want the young people to catch the vision. You ain't got to worry. We're there. Our name is on the Olympics book. You follow? So you don't got to strain and stress. You just got to be vigilant, do what you needed to do, and don't let anybody give you anything to spoil your character and your ratings. Because we have had good female athletes who get mixed up. We come from a small country where we're innocent. You understand? And people not wanting you to win. Or you could take the supplement when they well know, So for the coaches have got to be vigilant. And it would be nice if they could participate, sometimes Jamaica have invitational.
Yes.
Schools and so, yeah, go and run against them. Let them see.
That is in the future.
Because that's what they do, And I am glad to hear something I heard, which I was thinking. Some of them said that they were identified in primary school as far as grade 1, grade 2. Now, that is excellent. Because I have been to inter-primary, and I see some children say, look, they must reach Olympics. You see good times. You got to inter-high, it worse. I mean, children running near Olympic speed and time. So you don't have to worry. You're not the first. We have a lot of young ladies who went to the Olympics who did well. You're not winning. Because remember, it's only the best of the best go to the Olympics, Only the best of the best. Yes. So see yourself so. Just because a Jamaican, when he's running, expect to win. I want all of you to get a winning mentality. Amen. Right? When you go, you're going to win. If you ain't win, you ain't win, but you're going to win. You follow? Yeah, and look, tell yourself, I am on my way to the Olympics.
Miss Henry, unfortunately, we had to drop the call. We encourage you to call back if you can to hear your contribution. We thank you for your contribution, but it appears that for whatever technical reasons, we had to drop the call. So we do apologize for that, and we do encourage you to call back because, of course, you're giving some very encouraging words and some good, a very good contribution. So you heard what she said, You aren't far from the Olympics. We've had persons who would have participated in the Olympics, and so you're not far from that, and you just have to persevere, stay committed, work hard. We have a caller. You're live on Inside the News.
Mr. Gums, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I call from Montserrat.
Yes, Montserrat.
And good afternoon to all of your guesses.
Yes.
One of them said something, I mean, me forget my head. And she say, what the Jamaicans will do that I will not do. Try get my head for me. You hear me?
Yes. What?
Expound on that for me. What them a do that I will not do? Me want to know. Let's see. All right. Okay then.
Yeah, I
Don't mind
think.
little bit.
But what's that? Wait, before you go, Montserrat. Montserrat, are you there still?
Yeah, me still here.
You want them to you want the person who said that?
Yes, the one that say that. What the Jamaicans will do that I will not do.
Yes. Which one of you would have said that? Miss Howe. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay
Try
then.
get no she head for me because me and I got the reason why me and I got this kind of same thought, but maybe mine thought different, right? So let me hear what she said first.
Okay.
Like,
okay then.
Thank you.
Good.
Like, I just wonder if they're chain the same as us, like, what others do that we don't do, like, we chain them once a week and, not once a week, but, like, once a day and them things. I just wonder if they chain, like, morning, noon, and night, and, well, people say that they eat breakfast, but to me, that's a lie. I try doing that, and even though it not taste good, I still try, but it don't work. Like, that's why I wonder what I just do that I don't do. Because I just train, they just train, I just eat, they just eat. Like, I just wonder.
Understand. So, I think that answers the question that Montserrat was asking. So let me ask you a question. The SKN AAA team, Mr. Francis, would have their own coaches, or you guys work with the coaches of the athletes primarily? Oh, we have a call. So think about that question. And caller, you're live on Inside the News.
Well, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I just want to congratulate the members of your panel. And you see, training, the young lady mentioned, she wanted to know what the Jamaicans are doing, what we don't do. But sometimes it boils down to consistency in terms of training. Because in every discipline of sports, people always talk about athletes, not only athletics, but sports in general, that they're not training like the other athletes, years gone by. You understand? And the thing about being young and size, I don't think the size of somebody from another country should be a real matter in your going and perform. It boils down to ability. You understand? Because you could be taller than me or have more pounds, but when we get on the track, it's your ability to perform. You understand? So that is something I think the members of your panel need to take into consideration. Ability to perform. Good afternoon.
Thank you for your contribution. Yes, and so that caller would have been, we have another caller. That caller spoke about your ability more than the physical structure, but your.
Hello, Jenny, got a program?
Yes, good day. Caller, you're live on Inside the News.
Okay, so go back speaking?
Yes.
Yeah, in terms of training in the Jamaicans, as I said, the Jamaicans have a program. It is not seasonal. Right? I mean, I've been to Jamaica myself, and yeah, in the summer. If we got to look at how we train, our athletics seems to be just around a particular time. And so after the meet, everything finished now. Everybody wait until next year. You got to be trained consistently. I mean, apart from hereditary, you got to get a program in place. It's not about just going in the field and run for a particular time. Right? What I'm saying, we got the stadium, and the stadium, we need to actually use it, and we need to have an all-year-round program, not a seasonal program. You know what I mean? And so the athletes, I guess some athletes play a lot of different sports. Into track and field, into football. If you got to look at most of the Jamaicans, You into track and field, that's what you give it. You actually select a sport. You into football, that's what you're into. So maybe that's one thing that we could actually look from. Maybe again too, one thing could be the coaches, apart from the level, the dedication of the coaches. And if we look at some of the coaches, that may be a job for them basically, not a coach, a teacher, a coach working PDC, a coach and you could probably have a coach maybe attached to the Department of Sport, or you have a coach that's training the national team. What they need to have to, the national team, they probably need to have what we call a core team. And so people trying to make that team. Not then you find out every time you send out a team that different faces you see all the time. So you have a team that trains consistently all year round, and personal trying to actually make that team. So you got a core team every time. If you look at the Jamaican team, you could trace from some of the athletes from school come right up. All right? Yeah, I mean, athletes probably something in primary school, in high school. You have different phases. You want to run in high school, I run in high school. Then it's like, going to the national team, say like again new faces every time. So you need to see a development athlete from school come through. And nutrition is a part of it. Yeah, I mean, you got to guide the athletes to know exactly what and how to eat. Not that an athlete, I mean, yes, because I want one in time now, okay, don't eat this. And in a couple of months, they go to Kentucky. You know what I mean? So you need to look at a program, you need to see the physical structure itself, performance, and nutrition is a part of it. And dedication of athletes and coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they get paid coaching. That's you know, but we don't have. Maybe I don't know. Into the affordability, but we must have something in place to encompass all of that.
Carla, thank you for your contribution.
Okay. Yes.
I just want to ask you one question before you go.
Yes.
Would you have had any coaching background before?
No, not into an athletic, but I've coached different sports, cricket, football, martial art, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that in things, table tennis, that kind of thing.
Okay then.
Yeah. And then I've done a training program, Olympic training program in Cuba. So, you know, I've seen this kind of development. If you look at Cuba, I mean, almost everybody into sport because we are developing a healthy nation. And it's not a matter of that you do something now and you do it. You know, I went in Cuba basically, and every day, they have a lot of educational things. Almost every day, a country bringing a team in whatever kind of sport to actually whether train or compete against Cubans. Maybe we need that too. There are some elite athletes outside there, and basically we'll be running against ourselves all the time. Mm-hmm. But for you to develop, then you need to look at countries that have elite athletes, and whether invite them, we send our athletes outside to actually train the competition. I mean, and there's a cost, but we need to budget for it in our program. So we need to send our athletes to actually work along with some of the coaches and elite athletes outside there. We probably invite them out or something where we can get the most out of it. We don't bring them and send them. So the other thing, and Cubans do that, and other persons do that. Mm-hmm. Other countries, I guess, with affordability. So these are things that we need to look at, and if we're really serious about it, then we need to look at a program, not just a performance for time.
Yes.
I agree.
Thank you. And we have the team manager here who would have heard what you said, and I think I don't know if he wants to comment, but of course, go ahead.
I just want to agree with what the caller was saying. Due to my recent involvement in the Caribbean Games this year, I had conversations with the team managers as well for the Jamaican team, for the Bahama team, and different countries as well, and coaches, to get a feel, an idea of what we can do here to advance our athletes. And one thing that stuck out with me from them was that they have a program for year-round activities within their countries to help push their athletes. So I think one thing that we need to do here is to have a yearly program and not just a 6 months program, and then the athletes are then out there doing something else. We need to find programs that they can consistently perform at their best, have different meets outside of St. Kitts so that they can compete outside as well. So it comes to inter-island communication where you link with different Caribbean countries and perform outside there. So when you go to these bigger meets, you're well versed and prepared to handle everything that is thrown at you. Because I can tell you, these athletes that went to Carifta, they were very nervous at first. But when they realized that it's all about the mind and them being very consistent, they started to perform way better than the first day of Carifta. You know, like for example, Joan said, she said she did a little bad in her first event and she took it to heart.
Yeah.
But when she realized it, you know what, that was just one thing and you need to really let that go. She started to do extremely well. When she plays first in the javelin, she plays first in the 800 meter. I mean, she walked in the Jamaican athletes. So I'm just saying, it's all about the mind and having programs now to help our athletes, because I can tell you the honest truth, these are amazing athletes, 20 amazing athletes who perform extremely well under high pressure when it comes to getting sick. They got injured and nobody realized, but they pushed themselves on that line, on that track every day. And it wasn't easy.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Jeffords, yeah, and you see, you were able to get 2 gold medals. Not even 1, 2.
Well, if it wasn't the help, she would have gotten 2 gold medals.
Uh-huh.
But because it was the help, it's a combine of 7 events.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wish she started doing that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because then, trust me, she would have gotten a gold medal.
Yeah.
And even other athletes who are here would have gotten gold medals. But because of sickness, because when we landed the Thursday evening in the Bahamas, a few of the athletes started to feel sick. And it got real bad. Like really, really bad. And as the manager, I had to be running back and forth every minute, getting medication, getting this, getting that for them, ensure that they're ready for the next day. And for them to take that still and go outside and perform the way they did, you have to really, truly applaud them. They did an amazing job. And if it wasn't for those difficulties, we'd have had way more medals than we came back with. But when you compare last year to this year, it's that 300% increase when it comes to medals and performances. Last year we came back with 1 medal, and this year we have 4 medals, which 9 athletes, got medals. And so we have to truly applaud the 2018 team for Carifta.
We have a caller. Thank you, Mr. Francis. We have a caller. Caller, you're live on Inside News.
Hello.
Hello?
Good afternoon. You hearing me?
Yes, sir. Yes, we're hearing you.
I want to tell you all this day, right? Just be yourself. I want to congratulate all of them just for taking part. And just be yourself. Don't worry what the Jamaican doing. Your coach. Your coach deal with that. What the Jamaican is doing. Just know what you're doing. And when you believe, put that belief in your head that you're the best in the world. Just put that belief in your head, you're the best in the world. No Jamaica or no London or no America. No country is better than you. No country could run, no country you have nobody could run faster than you. You always tell us that when you get on the track. Hello?
Yes.
Hello, you hear me?
You can hear you. Yes.
I used to box, yeah?
Yes.
And I box with some of the best boxers in the world. I box with people who are number 10. And I always have myself above them, and up to when they win, some of them win me on points. But like they match countries. They don't look at the boxing itself. They look at countries. Thinkers and Colombia, thinkers and Venezuela, thinkers can win. And I said it was different. When I went to South America, Ecuador, I boxed in the South American Championship. And they felt that this guy was so toppy, this skittish shot. Because when I watch him a country, thinkers is a small little country and they believe nothing, no, you can't beat me, you can't look my country.
Yeah.
I want to tell all you athletes there, I wish you all the best and just continue. Just train hard. Do not worry about what the Jamaican doing or what they ain't doing. Let that for your coach. You just train the hardest you could. Eat right, sleep, and rest your body. Take rest. Don't be party. Don't want to get out partying and drinking and have late nights breaking your body. Yes, we human beings, we have to have a little fun, but don't overdo it. Overdoing it is the problem. When you're overdoing it, that's the problem you have. Thank you, man.
Agreed.
Thank you. Good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution. As he indicated, he's a former boxer. Hunks, And so he's giving you, you know, from an athlete to athlete, and he was Commonwealth champion as well. He will have beaten a number of Caribbean islands too, and so it goes to show that, you know, it doesn't matter where you are from, the size of your island doesn't define who you are. So, you know,
I agree. And I think they will be doing a lot more things during the year, as when it comes from the executive standpoint for Escan AAA, there are plans that we have in the making for the athletes as well as for track and field basically during the year. We couldn't do much this year because we just got elected on the 9th of December 2017, and so we had to really go through with the normal plans. But this year, though, going on to next year, the public can look forward to a lot of things coming from the Escan AAA, especially when it comes to our athletes, and for them growing as an individual as well too, and to get more exposure when it comes to events, not just at inter-high and inter-primary, and just at nationals. We need to have way more things for them to do, and so we're looking into a lot of things for the athletes this year.
Okay, we have a number of callers. Callers, you're live on Inside the News.
Okay, we have a number of callers. Callers, you're live on. Good afternoon, Mr. Gums.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon to the coach and the young athletes who went to represent us in the character.
Good afternoon.
I want to congratulate them and wish them all the best, because that is the way we start. But my little problem, Mr. Gums, my little concern.
Yes.
When in the primary, you might find these athletes running, young people running in the school sports. They reach up to the high school sports, and they represent good, and they reach and the character side, at the side. I mean, we call it again, the AAA. They reach this AAA now.
Yes.
And continue to run in maybe under 15, under 16, and under 17, going to represent Sinkits in the character. And all of at once, just find these young people drop out. I don't know why. I don't know if I don't know if the parents, they may continue to push them. Can't do the older caller was talking about they got to put something in place to let the athlete continue. Like put some program in place to get them train all the time. Because it seems to me like we have a lot of good athletes, you know. In my family especially, he had a fellow named Owen Wollard. That's my nephew.
Yes.
Darren Wollard. He had Corvis Wollard. All them went to character, represent Sinkit in the under 15 and under 16 or whatever. And they just drop out like that. I don't have, they didn't get enough encouragement from the parents and that the athletic association not have nothing in place to continue to keep them training, keep them going. I don't know if something need to put in place for our young people to continue to follow in direction and, you know, train more. Just like, I don't believe that you got to go to Jamaica, I got to go to America, because some people I feel like when they go to college, they got to go into college, I go to America to run. We got athletic training sport here right now. We got the Ken Collins up there, stadium up there. And I believe that they could go up down to the training. We got different places in thinking, but they could go and train and run. So I don't know. These athletes just cut out just like that. Good running athlete. I tell you, in my family, and they just you know, just gone apart just like that. Anyway, good program. And I want you all young people who there to continue to keep it up and just can't fight in hunks. You all go out there. When you go out there, you represent Sinkits. Nobody out there could do it better than you could do it. Kim Collins went out there and do it first. And I believe that any one of you could go out there and do it. Just like how Kim Collins do it. You all have a wonderful day. God bless.
Okay. Thank you. And you heard those encouraging words, you know. You're getting a lot of encouragement today. So it's ensure, and I'm sure you have been getting encouragement, but especially today, you know, you heard from persons perhaps you have not heard from before. And so in addition, you have additional encouragement. We have another caller here live on Inside the News.
Yeah, this is my last question. Now, I haven't heard much or anything about the Division athletes, so this is for the coach. Could you give us an idea as to what sport the Division took part in, what they did, who they were, because I think we end up with a same conversation. So could we hear something about the Divisions?
Yes.
From the coach and maybe some of the athletes, if they participated with them. All right, then.
Thank you.
Well, we were actually going to talk about the divisions as well. Like earlier, I mentioned Tajari Atherton, who took part in the 100 meter. He did not advance to the finals, which, as a team manager, I took to a different level because he, in his heat, basically, he came first with another athlete. And no offense to the Bahamian community, but they decided to put the other person in and not our athlete. And so I was very ticked off about it, and I went and I investigated the reason why. Because both ran the same time. So I was wondering, if you ran the same time, both should qualify to the finals. And I can assure you, if he had gotten to the finals, he would have won a medal as well, because he did an amazing job. After an hour and a half of fighting it, the finals ran, and there was nothing else I could have done about it. But however, I want to congratulate him for a job well done. When it comes to Marcus DeBerry, he's a 100 meter as well, and he did a personal best prior to his previous involvement in the Interschool Championships, where he ran 10.92, but at Carifta he ran 10.84. And so I truly felt proud of what he came and did. And where we had athletes being sick, especially when it came to the relay, DeBerry was one who stepped in, and he has never run a 400 meter, but he went and took part in the 4x4 relay to help our team, and he did an amazing job. I actually thought that he was a 4x4 athlete because he killed it. When you talk to Detrell Stanley from Nevis as well, he took part in the 4x4, and they ended up winning a bronze medal. When it comes to Leroy Chapman from Nevis as well, he fell ill instantly as we landed in the Bahamas. And even though he felt ill, he went on that track for each of his events to run still. And for one of the events, he had to really fall out. And I think I sprinted. I sprinted from the end of one of the stadiums to the other end because we had to see what was wrong with him. And he was really sick. He wasn't breathing, and he doesn't have asthma. His chest was tight. It was a lot of different things that were going on. And so, just to show them that the fact that you could be so sick and still go out there and fight, that's all you need. The thing with the Jamaicans is the fact that they are hungry for what they want, and we need to be hungry as well. And when it comes to Rianda Richards, she's in the States. She won a bronze medal in the 400 meter hurdles under 20 females. Zaria Liebert as well. She was Alice Liebert. She was amazing. She went to the finals in all of her events. All. And I have to applaud her for a job well done as well. And
I'm not hearing you.
We have Timothy Keynes on the line.
Okay, well, he beat me.
Mr. Keynes?
Hello?
Yes, we have Timothy Keynes on the line. Mr. Keynes?
No. Hello, I'm not hearing.
Hello?
Yes,
Yes, could you hear us?
I'm hearing you now.
Okay, then. And so we have Mr. Keynes on the line.
Yes. This is Timothy Keynes. He's the father for one of the athletes that went to the Carifta Games. His son is also Timothy Keynes Jr., who participated in Carifta as well and did an amazing job, who won also a bronze medal in the 4x4 relay. He also fell ill at the event and still pulled through. That's what I call a beast.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Keynes.
Yes.
How based on your son's performance, I know you must be excited, you must be happy. But coming from you, what are your words? How do you feel?
I'm very proud of him and of the team as a whole. For the most part, you could see the effort that the athletes would have put in competing and representing the country. And even those that did not actually win medals, we had some personal best performances, which is another aspect of development. It's not everyone that can win a medal, but if they go and give 100% and improve, then you build on that for the next time around.
Okay. So your son was one of the athletes. My question to you is, how closely do you work with him? Is it that it's a close relationship that you're there? How is preparation like for him through your eyes?
Well, he is advancing very rapidly. He made a lot of progress this year, and last year as well, but this year more so. We have a track level for the A1 Titan, but I actually don't coach him. My brother Sherman is his middle distance coach, so he has the direct responsibility for him in terms of his program and whatnot. But generally, the club structure I think is doing well for the athletes. What we need to do now is to get more competition within, the island for them to prepare for these type of meets.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything you want to say to the athletes here?
Well, I'm just going to say again, congratulations on the performances. We are proud of you, and keep working for the rest of the season and into next season too. So that next year we can have an even better showing at first and other games that we might attend.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I also want to say a big up to the head coach, Walter Johnson, for an amazing job well done with the athletes. To Mr. Kerwin Wallace, the assistant coach, who also showed up and did an amazing job. To Mr. Stuart Joseph, the assistant manager as well, put in an amazing job outside there with the athletes. And for the entire team, I say congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Mr. Francis, could you indicate maybe for the persons out there who may not know, you indicated some of the persons who already work with the team and the manager, the coaches, the assistant manager. But what about the executive? For persons out there who might not know who the executive is, I know it's a newly formed executive. Could you tell us the persons who lead the organization?
Right now, the president is Mr. Val Henry. The vice president is Mr. Everest Huggins. The general secretary is Mr. Keith Lee Phillip. The assistant secretary and treasurer is Ms. Latoya from Nevis. The treasurer is Mr. Lasana Laws. The game secretariat is Mr. Stuart Joseph. The women's rep is Rota Johnson. The coaches rep is Sherman Keynes from Nevis. The athletes rep is Maritza Williams, who is another Olympian as well too, and also a big star when it comes to Carifta. And I am the technical officials rep on the executive as well.
Mm-hmm. And so these would have been elected positions?
On the 9th of December.
On
yes.
the 9th of December. Okay then. So
we're going to be serving basically for the next 4 years.
For the next 4 years?
Yes.
Okay then. And each of you were elected to your position?
Yes.
Okay then. So with the what are some of the, perhaps, because it's a new executive, of course, I think Mr. Huggins was PRO before. I'm not too au fait.
Yes,
but
he was.
they had a change in president. They have a change in vice president.
Yes.
Obviously, because Mr. Huggins is now the vice president. So, with the change of persons within the executive, the body of the executive, are there any new things that you guys wish to implement?
Well, there are a lot of new things I can't say as yet.
Yes.
Because we are still in discussion about a lot of things that we want to do to better the athletes and to better the association. What I can say is good things are on the horizon for the athletes and for Scan AAA. I want to say as well too that we're not just talking about the athletes, but we have a training course coming up this month from the 20th to the 24th of April, which is basically for the technical officials now, for them to have their training and for them to develop, because if we don't have proper technical officials, then the athletes won't get the proper training that they need when it comes to going out there. And so we have that course coming up this month. We're also doing courses for the coaches. So we talk about programs. Once we can get our coaches to another level, we can have them as well to perform their best when it comes to the athletes, and the athletes going to that another level as well too when it comes to competing with other athletes outside of St. Kitts and Nevis.
You indicated earlier that the athletes were feeling a bit ill or
Yes.
getting sick during their travel to the Bahamas. What, in your perspective, might have been the reason or reasons, the causes for such sickness?
Honestly, I think the reason for it is the length. I think it was the length of time, and and they were in that plane for about 5 hours, and then as we landed, 'cause we landed in a very cold breeze and so forth, and you had to walk out through that, and then go through everything, and I think it's a difference when it comes to climate as well too, and so that ended up having some of them getting flu-like symptoms like Leroy did and so forth. And I think in that I think going forward what we need to do is to have certain types of what should I say, medication to help them when it comes to the cold, etc. Because if we had those stuff from the beginning before we landed, I don't think we would have gotten that far.
Oh, you said they were in the aircraft for about 5 hours. What was the route? The route to the Bahamas? What would
We left from St. Kitts to Turks, and we landed on Turks, and we could not come out the plane. So we were on the plane still for about 30 minutes on the ground, and then from Turks to the Bahamas, which took us another 2.5 hours to get there.
So it was like from St. Kitts to Turks was 2 hours.
2 hours.
And then a half an hour in the plane, and then afterwards 2.5 hours again.
Yes.
Okay then.
And so it just was 5 hours in that plane, and I think
We had cold food to eat though.
Yeah.
Cold food.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the cheese wasn't good.
so maybe that was one of the reasons.
Yeah.
So then we need to look into that as well. Yes,
In
in
the
the future.
future. We have a caller. Caller, you're live on Inside the News. Caller?
Yes, good afternoon again. This was my, I think the coach alluded to the question that I was about to ask. In terms of, I think you said you arrived in the Bahamas the Thursday, right?
Yes, correct.
And the game was the following day?
Yes.
This was my concern, and I want to know if, in the future, if you can try to get the athletes them at least 2 days before the scheduled time. I know we are talking at a cost factor because you're talking about extra money for boarding and accommodation. Because just in the event of one of your or two of your athletes, got sick, you give them at least 24 to 36 hours, to recuperate. Because going to the Bahamas Thursday and to start participating the following day, I think it's a bit fatiguing. I'm taking into consideration the length of time in terms of traveling. So this is something I think the association can look at. But as I said, you're talking about extra money in terms of boarding and accommodation.
I agree.
So it is something that your association can look at
But I can
for the
say,
future. Thank you.
You're welcome. But I can say to you, caller, for Carifta 48, which is going to be held in the Cayman Islands next year, we are looking for a more smoother and brighter Carifta team, whereas we're going to be choosing the Carifta team earlier than normal. The time for selection for the Carifta team will no longer be during inter-primary. So that too will also help when it comes to getting the athletes more prepared and more time to get them outside there to Carifta. And so it won't be like it was this year. I can guarantee you that.
Okay, thank you. So we looked at perhaps the mode of transportation. Do you feel as though, okay, because you said that it was a bit cold, do you feel as though perhaps traveling, did the athletes at all travel with like coats and those and jackets and those kind of things?
We do, and we give them a kit basically, right? And the kit comes with coats, etc. But because the flight initially was to leave at 10 a.m. on Thursday,
yes,
it was delayed until about 2:45 in the afternoon, and that's when we actually left St. Kitts. Okay, and the fact was that we were supposed to arrive in the Bahamas around 2 in the afternoon. Okay, but this time, because of that, there wasn't planned. Everything, luggage was checked in, everything was checked in. And so they didn't have all of this stuff on them because they were in their suitcases.
Oh.
And that was the issue.
Mm.
But going forward, what we plan to do is that with their carry-on luggage, they need to pack certain things, like from the kit, one of each especially, inside that carry-on, because you never know what could happen. We normally tell them to make sure their tracks are in that. But this time I think we need to add more to that list to ensure that they're well protected when it comes to just in case we are delayed again. Because even when we're coming back, we were delayed as well too.
So I'm guessing, it might sound simple, but my suggestion would be, to ensure that you have coats or those kind of things. So it might sound simple, but my suggestion would be make sure that you have coats and those things when you're traveling, so you could at least fight the coldness, so you could keep warm, because when you have those kind of changes in temperature up and down, your body reacts negatively to it, and sometimes that's the reason why you get a little cold off.
Yeah.
Not being a medical doctor, but the changes in temperature, rapid changes in temperature and stuff, I think would contribute to that. So, I mean, if it is that you could prevent it, as you said, the medication, and two, if you could pack the coats, so during that time they could at least feel a bit warm. Yeah,
I agree.
That might assist.
And I think even going into Character 48, which is next year in the Cayman Islands, for anybody who's listening and who would like to sponsor even one of the athletes who will be going and who will be chosen, you are so welcomed to message us here or even at the SKN AAA as well, because everything helps when it comes to our athletes, and the more we can send, the more beneficial it is for our athletes. This year we sent 20 athletes, and it was not cheap. And just for the charter was $56,000 US. And that did not include accommodations, food, or anything. And so, in doing that, any institution that wants to assist and help, you're so free to do that and contact us there at SKN AAA.
Well, I mean, you see persons, you see the team going and traveling and representing, but when you put the money value to it, it shows that,
yes,
it's not cheap, and it shows too, those of you who benefit from it in terms of the athletes, the monies that go into traveling and the seriousness that must be carried with it as well, to ensure that the monies are well spent, and to ensure that it's not just a trip, but it's a trip to ensure that all that you would have worked for comes into fruition there and then, that all that you would have been training for, you're able to display your talent regardless,
Exactly. And even when persons had issues with the pricing for inter-school and inter-primary, if we did not increase those, a lot of the athletes would not have gone to Carifta this year. And the reason why a lot of them were chosen to go now, because the money that came from those two events helped drastically to send the athletes to Carifta. So it's very important. And so I'm alluding to the fact that everybody needs to come out still and enjoy inter-school and inter-primary, because these are things that help to push our athletes to a different level and to get the funds to send them to different various events around the world and around the Caribbean to advance our athletes. Because we might have a next Kim Collins or even a better Kim Collins, and you never know, but we have to give them that opportunity.
Yes, indeed. And I mean, when you talk about inter-school championships. You think about when I was studying in Jamaica, they have their champs.
Yes.
Where it's a big event where so many people go and support, and so many people are part in that little stadium. You know, you have the different high schools and everything, and the high school culture is very competitive.
Yes.
Very competitive. They treat champs as though it's the Olympics.
Yes, they do.
So, I mean, when you look at those sort of efforts, and you are competing against a force, not even just with the monies and just the talents that they have, but you're competing with a spirited, spirited entity. Because they have a lot of spirit, they have a lot of patriotism, and they make sure that they represent themselves and their country to their fullest. So that is what we have to ensure that we do as well.
And let's also thank the Minister of Sports, the Honorable Shanta Richards, for his amazing contribution of donating $50,000 EC to the travel for the athletes to the Carifta Games.
Yes.
Without him, I don't think we have had a lot of athletes going as well. And let us also give thanks to the NOC, which is the St. Kitts Nevis Olympic Committee, for their contribution as well, and for everybody else who contributed towards this effort.
Indeed, because had it not been for their contribution, the efforts of these athletes might have gone unnoticed, because they would not have been able to participate.
And might have gotten a gold.
Yes.
A shocking gold. Because I'm going to tell you the truth too. Even me as a manager, when she was going on the track and I was looking at the video, and I was like, Lord, okay. I counted her out. I was like, oh Lord. But then when I saw her hit that 300-meter mark, I said, look at that giant go.
Yes.
Look, and then everybody outside there and in the team was like, run, Tishani, run, and they went on crazy, And to see her win that gold, trust me, it was very rewarding. And even when it came to Yanda as well too, because she almost fell, and then you thought, you were like, okay, she's giving up. But then we started shouting, Jol, go, run! And then she ended up coming third, winning bronze. So that's the way we felt when it comes to winning all these events. And even when they didn't win an event, they made a personal PB, like Leandre, who made a personal PB in these events as well. Like, we have to applaud these athletes for doing so well.
Yes. Indeed.
And I can guarantee you next year, if this is the same squad that's going with additionals, we are coming back with more gold.
Yes.
Prepared for that.
Because I like how you said that, because the fact that many of them said that this was their first time, it means that a lot of them who represented St. Kitts previously would not have been part of the team this year. So you guys are actually like a fresh batch.
Yes.
So
very fresh.
It's again, it's only now you guys have to build on it, to ensure that, the teamwork is still there, and you could improve on whatever you will have done this year. So you guys are on the face of it.
I hope it pushes them to different heights, especially Aliyah. Because I'm going to put on a little blast right now. Not blast, but,
Yes.
When she messaged me one time and she was like, Prince, I could jump out. I was like, what do you mean? And I mean, just to show, if she did drop out, she wouldn't have gotten that bronze medal.
Yes.
And so you have to always look at all this and say, you know what?
Yes.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Indeed.
And with that said, this is what we did, and came home with 4 medals, including a gold medal.
Yes. What you say, Jeffers?
You say?
Oh. So with the hemp event, it's like you have 7 events in one.
Yes.
And so in order to get the goal, I'm assuming that you have to
points.
Is the point system?
Yes.
Okay then. So, Ms. Jeffers, could you tell us about that then? Your experience with it. Persons who might not know about that event. Persons who are still trying to understand. Go ahead. The hemp event, it's more than one event, and so it's a point system. So, explain outline each event, and explain how is it done in the end. I'm guessing that it's the top 3 from going throughout every event would get the first, second, and third. And so, could you outline each event that someone has to participate in? In the hemp.
You want me to say all the events?
Yeah, if you could remember them for that particular
200 meter, 800 meter, javelin, shot put, high jump, long jump, and the 100 meter hurdles.
Okay. And so, Prince, Francis, her selection for that would have been based on her performance here. And so, because it seems like a very hefty event, I mean, it means that, yeah, that's like a superwoman, Iron Woman event. It's like you're selecting someone who you know has the best chance of doing well in almost every event.
Yes, that is so true. And when it comes to Javencia, she's a superwoman. She can do anything. I want to say anything, I mean anything. And when you look at her performances at inter-school and so forth, and even development meets, she is on top. Okay? And so because she almost fell in the 100 meter hurdles in Carifta, was her first event.
Yeah.
She kind of took it to heart, you know, and that's where she fell a bit, but she catch herself back, you know, and she did extremely well. And so once you have a beast like that, you have to send them away, you know, to compete, and she deserved it.
So I mean, congratulations to you, because even to be selected to do that, it shows that, you know, you have to be well-rounded. It's as though not just one area of focus.
Yeah.
You have to focus on the javelin, as you say, as the
Both
hurdles,
track and field events.
both track and field events. So kudos to you. And so, based on your performance here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the inter-school, because you know that we had a lot of champions here from the inter-school, and we had a lot of persons from, you know, your school, the Charles E. Mills school, secondary school, who would have, you know, done extremely well, and of course you being one of those athletes. And so I must say your journey in terms of from the inter-school to the Carifta, it speaks a lot, you know. Because you guys are carrying, you know, when you compete in the inter-school, it's school against school. It's the Wildcats against the Eagles, you know. It's the Falcons. It's all. But when you leave that, when you leave with the AAA team now, the SKN AAA team, and you're representing, it's all of you come together, and all of you are. For one purpose now, St. Kitts and Nevis. So it's good to see how, you know, you move from one stage to the next, and, you know.
I honestly would love to see next year that we walk with 50 athletes. That is my goal. That is my dream. You know, it comes with a lot of funding, and I hope people are listening so they can come and fund. Because if we give them the opportunity, you never know what could happen. If we did not give them the opportunity this year, we would have not gotten a gold medal.
Yes.
Because she didn't run the qualifying time for Carifta.
Yes.
But we gave them the opportunity still, because they were close.
Yeah.
And you see what happened? We won a gold.
Also, Miss Warner didn't get the qualifying time for Carifta.
It's a qualifying mark that they have to meet to go to
Ah.
Carifta. And that's how the teams are selected. But this year we felt like we need to give other people opportunity. Because I remember one time ago in Carifta, a Bahamian did not qualify. And they send them still to Carifta, and they won a gold. And we are going to take that into consideration. And so with that said, this year now the executive did that, and you see what happened? We won a gold.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you we'll be winning more golds. And so I want to be just like the Jamaicans and walk with 50 to 70 athletes. That's what they do. They go and they get their sponsors and so forth, so that they could send off all these athletes. And with us walking with that kind of squad, we can do anything. And so that's what I want for next year. So I hope people are listening. So if the station wants to sponsor one athlete, that would be really great.
Thank you, Mr. Francis, for giving us an insight on you know the financial responsibility of the that is needed, you know, to actually send off these individuals, and, you know, the social responsibility, the social corporate responsibility between, you know, persons out in the community, different entities, you know, who can at one point in time, if they can, you know, contribute to send you know the social corporate responsibility of those corporations to you know give back to the community.
Because at the end of the day, it's about us as a federation, St. Kitts and Nevis, not just about Aliyah or Maya, but it's about the entire federation on a whole. And I think once we can do that, and that's what they do, and that's what they do as well back in Jamaica.
Yes.
They have companies coming and sponsoring sometimes 5 of the athletes, and they, you know, so that they can go and get that opportunity. And so we need to get all our athletes the same opportunity here.
Indeed.
And win the next Carifta.
Yes.
Knock out Jamaica.
Indeed. And hopefully with that sort of commitment and that sort of sponsorship and stuff like that, you know, a lot would be expected, a lot more would be expected, because to whom is given, you know, great things, more is expected of them. Yes.
You know, like for example, is another athlete that I wanted to attend the Carifta this year, but he couldn't make it, which is Ian Liber. And I really do feel if he had traveled to the Carifta this year, he would have also come back here with medals.
Yes. Once again, for persons who are given great responsibility, more would be expected from them. So those persons, you know, more responsibility, more support, a lot more would be expected. So with the push that you guys are looking for, of course, it means too that a lot of persons, even more than now, would be expecting, you know, we have to ensure we bring home this thing.
Yes.
You know? Yes, and as we have about 10 more minutes or less of the program, I'm going to now ask each athlete to just give me and give those persons listening an idea of what are your plans for the future. What do you now see yourself doing, perhaps in the next 5 years, next 10 years? You know, we look back at you, we look at you, and we want to know what are your interests in the future. Miss Morton, we're going to start with you, and then we're going to end with Miss Romney.
Earning a scholarship to go overseas to study, to become an entrepreneur, and being an ambassador for St. Kitts.
Okay.
Also be an Olympian, a gold medalist.
Yes, Miss Clark, yes.
Earning a scholarship as well.
Mm-hmm.
I also hope to gain a scholarship through track and field. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Miss Warner?
I wish to become a big athlete in athletics and also football. Yeah.
I wish to earn a scholarship through athletics and also an entrepreneur. I don't know where I get that from. Yeah.
Stafford?
I would like to get a scholarship also in track and field and football.
Mm-hmm. I would also like to get a scholarship through track and field.
Mm-hmm. So
I want to be a lot of things, but right now I am so very hungry. I'm not thinking straight.
Yes, we should. I know it's been we've had a long program, and I do thank all of you for being here. I know it's not easy because the program extends from 11 to 2 o'clock with a half an hour break, and so it means that the program is about 2 hours and 30 minutes. So all of you would have been speaking here today. All of you spoke here today for about 2 hours and 30 minutes. So you see, I'm sure that with this experience and others to come, you'll be more comfortable because as it relates to the media, and it's just a learning opportunity, you know. And you guys did an amazing job this morning, today, because it's now afternoon. And you guys were very entertaining. You guys were very interactive. And I must say it was a pleasure to have all of you here at Win FM interacting with us, giving us an insight of what you do how you were selected and your experience in track and field and also the Carifta game. So I must say congratulations to all of you once again. And thank you for coming, and thank you for being a part of the program. I also extend thanks to your team manager for being here, Mr. Francis, and I express thanks and appreciation to the SKN AAA organization for their hard work. It is no easy feat, I mean, to deal with individuals and to lead an organization that they are leading to do such a commendable job in to ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis does well regionally, placing 10th out of 28 countries. Of course, we thank the athlete, and we must also thank those behind the athletes, their parents, their supporters, and the organization for pushing forward. We thank, the minister and the Minister of Sports also for his contribution to the well-being of the athletes, ensuring that they were given some sort of monies so they could travel, and any other organization or person who would have contributed, because their contribution should not go unnoticed, because they have assisted in ensuring that we can be here today. And when I say we, myself with the athletes and anybody else with the athletes, speaking with these athletes who have done an amazing job. And so guys, I wish you the best in your endeavors. I wish you all the strength, all the health, all the good things, and I know that we will continue to hear good things of you, and I know you will continue to make St. Kitts and Nevis proud. Thank you.
WINN